A diamond ring. A deadly lie. 6 weeks to survive. When wildlife rehabilitator Eris Vale becomes a stranger's fake fiancée to escape armed killers in a downtown bar, she thinks the danger ends at the door. She's wrong. Kai Draven isn't just desperate. He's the heir to a criminal empire, and she's now the only thing keeping him alive. The engagement is temporary, the threats are real, and the line between performance and truth is about to shatter in ways that could destroy them both. Stay until the end. Drop a comment with your city so I can see how far this story travels. The diamond hit the bar top like a gunshot. Eris Vale's hand jerked, whiskey sloshing against the rim of her glass. She didn't look up. Not at first. Bars like the Copper Rail drew a certain crowd after midnight. Drifters, insomniacs, people who needed the noise to drown out the quiet. She'd learned to keep her head down, nurse her drink, and leave before the darkness got too comfortable. But the ring didn't move. It sat there under the dim amber light, a solitaire stone catching fire with each flicker of the neon sign outside. Expensive, deliberate, and directly in front of her. "Don't look up." The voice came low, close enough that she felt the heat of breath against her ear. Male, controlled, threaded with something she recognized from years of working with cornered animals. Fear dressed up as composure. Eris's pulse kicked. Her fingers tightened around the glass. "I need you to put that on," the voice continued. "Calm. Too calm. Smile like you're surprised, like you love me, and whatever you do, don't look at the men by the door." Her throat went dry. She'd been a widow for 3 years, long enough to know that strange men didn't slide rings onto strange women's fingers without a reason. Long enough to know that reason was rarely good. But her body moved before her mind caught up. Survival instinct, maybe. Or the same reckless impulse that made her pull a hawk from a steel trap 2 months ago, talons shredding her forearm to ribbons. She turned her head just enough to see him. Tailored charcoal suit, dark hair swept back, still perfect despite whatever hell had driven him here. Sharp jawline, eyes like smoke, gray, unreadable, fixed on her with an intensity that made her stomach drop. Handsome, dangerous, desperate. "3 men," he said quietly. 2 o'clock. "They've been watching me for the last 10 minutes. If I walk out of here alone, I'm dead before I reach my car." Eris didn't look. Her hand hovered over the ring. "Why me?" "Because you're alone. Because you look like someone who doesn't ask questions." His mouth curved, barely, bitterly. "And because I'm out of options." She should have walked, thrown the whiskey in his face, grabbed her coat, and disappeared into the February cold. Let him drown in whatever mess he'd made. But 3 years of solitude did things to a person. Made them reckless, made them tired of being careful. Eris picked up the ring. It was heavier than she expected. The band was platinum, the stone flawless, at least 2 carats, maybe more. She slid it onto her left ring finger. It fit. Now what? Smile. She turned fully, letting her body language shift. Surprise blooming across her features, not hard to fake when adrenaline was already lighting up her veins. She let out a breathless laugh, the kind that might have been joy if her hands weren't shaking. The man leaned in, close enough that anyone watching would see intimacy. His hand found hers, warm and steady, despite the fear she could taste in the air between them. "Thank you," he murmured. Up close, she saw the fractures, the faint scar bisecting his left eyebrow. The tension coiled in his shoulders, the exhaustion carved into the lines around his eyes. "Who are you?" she whispered. "Kai Draven." He said it like a confession, like a curse. The name meant nothing to her. She didn't move in circles where names carried weight. But the way he said it, like dropping a stone into deep water, told her everything she needed to know. This man was trouble, and she'd just tied herself to him. Kai's hand tightened on hers. "Laugh again, louder." She forced it out, a sound that scraped her throat raw. Across the bar, she caught movement in her peripheral vision. 3 men, just like he'd said. Leather jackets, hard faces, eyes that tracked Kai like wolves circling wounded prey. One of them stepped forward. Eris's breath caught. Kai pulled her closer, his mouth brushing her temple, a gesture so intimate it sent ice down her spine. "They're deciding," he said against her hair, "whether I'm worth the scene." "What did you do?" "Nothing yet." His voice dropped. "That's the problem." The lead man stopped 5 feet away. Older, maybe 50, with a face like weathered stone and eyes that calculated risk the way accountants calculated taxes. He looked at Kai, at Eris, at the ring-catching light between them. A slow smile spread across his face. Draven. The word came out rough, amused. Didn't know you had it in you. Kai straightened, his hand still wrapped around Eris's. Marcus. He nodded like they were old friends, like his pulse wasn't hammering hard enough for her to feel it through his palm. Celebrating, you know how it is. Marcus's gaze slid to Eris. She felt it like fingers on her skin, cold, assessing, invasive. She made herself smile, made herself lean into Kai like he was the only solid thing in a room full of smoke and shadows. Congratulations. Marcus drew the word out, tasting it, testing it. Your old man know? Something shifted in Kai's expression, a door slamming shut. He will. Marcus laughed, a sound like gravel grinding glass. Should be interesting. He tapped 2 fingers against his temple in a mock salute, then turned away. The other 2 men followed, shadows peeling off into the night. The door swung shut behind them. Eris exhaled. Kai didn't move, didn't let go. For a long moment, they stood there, 2 strangers bound by a lie that had just saved one of their lives. Then he pulled back. I need you to come with me. Excuse me? 5 minutes, just outside, please. Every instinct screamed at her to say no, to pull off the ring, drop it on the bar, and walk away while she still could. But the please did it, the crack in his armor, the raw desperation bleeding through the polished exterior. Eris had spent 3 years putting broken things back together, hawks with shattered wings, foxes with infected wounds, a life built on fixing what the world had damaged. Maybe that's why she followed him. Ats. The cold hit like a fist. February in the city, wet, bitter, the kind of cold that sank into bones and didn't let go. Eris pulled her coat tighter, watching as Kai paced 3 steps, stopped, paced again. A black sedan idled at the curb, driver behind tinted windows, engine purring. Talk, Eris said. Fast. Kai stopped. Looked at her, really looked, like he was seeing her for the first time, taking inventory, measuring. My father runs half the organized crime on the East Coast, he said flatly. I'm his heir, his weapon, the one he's been grooming since I was 16 to take over when he's gone. Eris's stomach turned. And those men work for the family. Specifically, they work for my uncle, who doesn't think I'm fit to lead. Kai's jaw tightened. He's been looking for a reason to take me out, publicly, make an example. So you used me as cover. Yes. At least he didn't lie. Eris looked at the ring on her finger. It felt heavier now, like shackles instead of silver. Take it back. I can't. Yes, you can. We're done. I held up my end. They saw you. Kai's voice cut through hers, sharp and final. Marcus saw you. With me. Wearing that ring. If I show up tomorrow without a fiancé, they'll know it was a setup. They'll know I'm vulnerable, and they'll come for me harder. That's not my problem. It is now. The words landed like stones. Eris stared at him, fury and disbelief warring in her chest. You don't get to decide that. I know. He ran a hand through his hair, the first gesture she'd seen that looked genuinely human, frustrated, lost. I know, but I'm asking anyway. 6 weeks. That's all I need. 6 weeks to make this look real while I dismantle everything from the inside. After that, you walk away. Clean, paid, safe. Paid? $50,000. The number hit her like cold water. Eris worked 60-hour weeks at a wildlife rehabilitation clinic that barely kept the lights on. $50,000 would cover 6 months of operating costs. New equipment, expanded enclosures, maybe even a second staff member so she didn't have to choose between sleep and keeping the animals alive. Kai saw the hesitation, pressed. I need someone they'll believe, someone who doesn't know the life, who can't be connected to the families. You're perfect. I'm not an actress. You don't have to be. Just be yourself. Show up when I need you. Play the part. He stepped closer. I'll keep you safe. I swear it. Your promises don't mean anything to me. Then let me earn them. Silence stretched between them, broken only by the distant wail of sirens and the hiss of tires on wet pavement. Eris thought of the clinic, of Lena, her sister-in-law, working double shifts to help cover rent, of the red-tailed hawk she'd released last week, wings whole again, disappearing into open sky. She thought of the ring on her finger, and she thought of the look in Kai's eyes when Marcus walked away, relief so sharp it looked like pain. 6 weeks, she said. Kai exhaled. 6 weeks. Then I'm gone. Agreed. And no lies. She pointed at him, the ring flashing. Not between us. Ever. I don't care what you have to hide from them. You don't hide it from me. Something flickered across his face. Surprise, maybe. Or respect. Deal. He opened the sedan door. Warm air spilled out, carrying the scent of leather and expensive cologne. Eris climbed in. The door shut. The world outside became glass and distance. And Eris Vale, who'd spent 3 years learning how to live alone, found herself sitting beside a man who might be the most dangerous thing she'd ever tried to save. The hotel was the kind of place that didn't ask questions. High-end enough to guarantee discretion. Anonymous enough that no one looked twice at a man in a tailored suit and a woman in a thrift store coat climbing out of a black sedan at 2 a.m. Kai led her through a side entrance, past security that nodded without making eye contact, into an elevator that required a key card to access the top floor. Eris watched the numbers climb. Her reflection stared back from polished brass, pale, sharp-featured, eyes too wide. She looked like someone who'd made a terrible mistake. Maybe she had. The elevator opened into a hallway that smelled like expensive carpet and silence. Kai's suite was at the end. He unlocked the door, stepped aside. Eris walked in. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city, light stretching to the horizon like a constellation fallen to earth. Marble floors, minimalist furniture, a kitchen she'd never use, and a bedroom she hoped she wouldn't have to see. Kai closed the door, locked it. 3 separate mechanisms. "You're safe here," he said. "Am I?" He didn't answer, just moved to the bar, poured 2 fingers of something amber into crystal glasses, handed her one. Eris didn't drink. She set it on the counter. "Tell me the rest." Kai leaned against the window, silhouetted by the city beyond. For a moment, he looked almost vulnerable, almost human. Then he started talking. "My father built an empire on violence and silence, trafficking, extortion, money laundering, anything that turns a profit and keeps people afraid. I was supposed to inherit it, expand it, make it untouchable. But you don't want it. I want it gone." The words came out hard. Final. "I've spent 2 years building a case, evidence, contacts, a way to collapse the entire structure without it splintering into a dozen smaller wars. You're turning on your own family. They're not family, they're a machine, and I'm the part they use to break people." Eris studied him, looking for the lie, the performance. She didn't find it. "Why now?" Kai's hand tightened on his glass. "Because my father's dying. Cancer. 6 months, maybe less. When he goes, the structure collapses. My uncle moves in, or someone worse. The violence multiplies. Unless I end it first. With me as your cover. Yes. And if something goes wrong, if they figure out I'm not, then you become a target." He met her eyes. No flinching, no softening. "That's the risk. I won't lie about it." At least he was honest. Eris looked at the ring on her finger again. The weight of it. The cost. "What happens in 6 weeks?" "The indictments drop. 41 arrests, simultaneous. Federal agents, coordinated strikes. The empire crumbles in a single night. And me? You disappear. New identity if you want it. Money, protection, whatever you need." It sounded too clean, too easy. Nothing in Eris's life had ever been easy. "I need to think." "You have until morning." Kai gestured toward a door. "Guest room. It locks from the inside. No one will bother you." She should have left, called a cab, put distance between herself and this mess while she still could. But exhaustion dragged at her bones, and some part of her, the part that pulled talons from traps and stitched torn wings, wanted to see if this broken man could actually be saved. Eris walked to the guest room, paused at the threshold. "Kai." He looked up. "If you lie to me, even once, I'm gone. No negotiation. No second chances. Understood. She closed the door, turned the lock, and stood there in the silence, heart pounding, wondering what the hell she'd just agreed to. Morning came too fast. Eris woke to gray light filtering through unfamiliar curtains and the smell of coffee. For a disoriented moment, she couldn't place where she was. Then memory crashed back. The bar, the ring, Kai's face in the elevator. She sat up. Her coat was draped over a chair. The ring still gleamed on her finger. Real then. Not a nightmare. She found Kai in the main room, seated at the dining table with a laptop and 2 phones. He'd traded the suit for dark jeans and a black sweater, but the exhaustion remained, etched into the lines around his eyes, the set of his shoulders. He looked up when she entered. Coffee's fresh. Eris poured herself a cup. No milk, no sugar. She'd learned to take it black during the years of late-night animal emergencies when sleep was a luxury and caffeine was survival. I have conditions, she said. Kai closed the laptop. Waited. First, I don't move in here. I have a life, a job, people who'll notice if I disappear. Agreed. We'll stage public appearances, dinners, events, enough to sell the story. The rest of the time, you're free. Second, you don't touch me unless it's necessary. For the act. Nothing more. His jaw tightened. Understood. Third, I meet your father. That stopped him. Why? Because if I'm going to lie to a dying man, I need to look him in the eye first. Kai stared at her. Something unreadable moved across his features. Surprise, maybe. Or respect. He'll see through you. Then we're already dead. A beat. Then Kai nodded slowly. Friday night. Dinner at the estate. Formal. He'll expect you to be terrified. I will be. Good. Fear sells better than confidence in his world. Kai stood, moved to the window. Anything else? Eris thought of Lena, of the clinic, of the life she'd built from the wreckage of widowhood. Small, quiet, safe. She was about to burn it all down. Yeah, one more thing. Name it. At the end of 6 weeks, when this is over, you disappear from my life completely. No check-ins, no making sure I'm okay. We're strangers again. Kai turned. Their eyes met. Deal. Eris drained her coffee, set the cup down with a sharp click. Then let's get to work. The next 4 days were a masterclass in controlled deception. Kai moved through the world like a man playing chess on 3 boards at once. Every word calculated, every gesture deliberate. He taught Eris the language of his world. Who to trust, no one. Who to fear, everyone. How to navigate conversations where saying the wrong thing could end with a body in the river. My father respects strength, Kai said during one of their prep sessions. They were in his suite again, running through potential questions. Not aggression, strength. Answer directly. Don't apologize, don't elaborate unless he asks. What if he asks how we met? The truth. Bar, chance encounter, immediate connection. He'll appreciate the simplicity. And if he asks why you chose me? Kai paused, looked at her with those smoke-gray eyes. Because you're real. Everything in my world is performance. You're not. It shouldn't have landed the way it did. Shouldn't have made something in her chest pull tight. But it did. Eris looked away first. What about your uncle, Marcus? He'll test you, push boundaries, try to find the crack. Kai's voice hardened. Don't give him one. If he corners you, find me, immediately. You think he's dangerous? I know he is. The certainty in his voice raised goosebumps on her arms. Thursday night, Kai took her shopping. Not the kind of shopping Eris was used to, thrift stores and clearance racks. This was boutiques with locked doors and appointments, where salespeople brought champagne and dresses that cost more than her monthly rent. Pick something you feel powerful in, Kai said, leaning against the dressing room wall while she tried on the 5th gown. Not pretty. Powerful. Eris stared at her reflection. The dress was deep emerald, cut to flatter without clinging, with a neckline that suggested confidence without desperation. She looked like someone who belonged in Kai's world. The thought terrified her. This one, she said. Kai's expression when she stepped out. Something shifted. Softened. just for a second before the mask slammed back into place. Perfect. He paid in cash. Didn't blink at the 5-figure price tag. On the drive back, Eris watched the city slide past, lights blurring into streaks. Kai. Yeah? Why me? Really? He was quiet for a long moment. The driver navigated traffic with mechanical precision, a ghost in the front seat. Because you looked at me like I was human, Kai finally said. Not a name, not a threat, just a person. He glanced at her. No one's done that in years. Eris didn't know what to say to that, so she said nothing. They drove the rest of the way in silence. Friday arrived like an execution date. Eris spent the morning at the clinic, throwing herself into work. A juvenile screech owl with a broken wing, a fox kit recovering from pneumonia, physical labor, tangible problems, things she could fix with her hands and her knowledge and her patience. Lena found her in the enclosure around noon, elbows deep in wood shavings. You've been weird all week, Lena said. No preamble. That was Lena, direct as a hammer, loyal as gravity. She'd been Eris's anchor since the funeral, since the world stopped making sense. Eris kept working. Just busy. Bullshit, you're rattled. Lena crossed her arms. Talk. Eris almost did. Almost told her everything. The bar, the ring, the deal she'd made with a man who wore danger like a second skin. But something stopped her. Instinct, maybe. Or the memory of Kai's voice. They'll know I'm vulnerable. If she told Lena, Lena became a vulnerability too. I'm fine, Eris lied. Just tired. Lena didn't buy it, but she didn't push. That was the thing about grief. It taught you when to let silence do the work. Okay, but I'm here. When you're ready. Eris nodded. After Lena left, she stood alone in the enclosure, watching the owl test its wing. Tentative. Careful. Learning to trust the strength that had been broken and healed. She understood the feeling. Marches. The estate sat 40 minutes outside the city, behind gates that looked decorative but weren't. Kai's driver, silent, efficient, navigated the long driveway like he'd done it 1,000 times. Probably had. Eris's hands were steady on her lap. The emerald dress felt like armor. The ring felt like a target. Remember, Kai said quietly, you're here because you want to be, not because you're afraid. He can smell fear. I'm not afraid of your father. Kai's mouth curved, almost a smile. You should be. The house was everything she expected and nothing she was prepared for. Old money architecture, stone and ivy, windows that glowed like eyes in the dusk. Beautiful, cold, built to intimidate. Kai helped her out of the car. His hand on her lower back was warm, steady, a reminder that she wasn't doing this alone. It shouldn't have been a comfort. It was. The front door opened before they reached it. A man in a dark suit, security obviously, nodded them through without a word. Inside, the house breathed wealth. Marble floors, paintings that belonged in museums, furniture that probably cost more than Eris's car. Everything perfect. Everything controlled. Everything suffocating. Kai. The voice came from the top of the staircase. Deep, authoritative. A voice that expected obedience and got it. Eris looked up. Vincent Draven descended like a king surveying his kingdom. Tall, broad-shouldered, despite the illness eating him from the inside. Silver hair, sharp features, eyes the same smoke gray as his son's, but colder. Calculating. A man who'd built an empire on other people's fear and never lost a night's sleep over it. He reached the bottom of the stairs, stopped 3 feet away. His gaze moved from Kai to Eris. Lingered. So, Vincent said. This is her. Kai's hand tightened on Eris's back. Dad, this is Eris Vale, my fiancée. The word hung in the air like a grenade with the pin pulled. Vincent smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. Welcome to the family, Miss Vale. And Eris, who'd faced down injured predators and grief and 3 years of brutal loneliness, felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Pure, primal fear. But she smiled back. Thank you, Mr. Draven. Vincent's smile widened. Call me Vincent. We're family now. He gestured toward the dining room. Shall we? Kai and Eris followed, and with every step, Eris felt the trap closing tighter. Dinner was a performance. 8 courses, each more elaborate than the last. Wine older than Eris. Conversation that danced around landmines, business ventures that were obviously criminal, family history soaked in blood, questions designed to expose weakness. Vincent presided over it all like a maestro conducting an orchestra of knives. "So, Eris," he said over the 4th course, "Kai tells me you work with animals." "Wildlife rehabilitation," Eris said. "Steady, direct. Injured and orphaned animals. We treat them and release them back into the wild." How noble, Vincent's tone suggested it was anything but. "And this pays well?" "It doesn't." A flicker of surprise. "Then why do it?" Eris met his eyes. "Because someone has to." Silence. Then Vincent laughed, a genuine sound that seemed to surprise even him. "I like her," he said to Kai. "She's honest. Refreshing." Kai's expression didn't change, but Eris felt the tension in his shoulders ease fractionally. The rest of the meal passed in a blur. More questions, more tests, Vincent probing for cracks, Eris refusing to give him any. By dessert, she was exhausted. Then Vincent stood. "Kai, a word, privately." Kai's jaw tightened. "Dad, now." It wasn't a request. Kai glanced at Eris, a question in his eyes. She nodded. "I'm fine." He didn't look convinced, but he followed Vincent out of the room, leaving Eris alone. She counted to 10, then 20. At 30, the door opened again. But it wasn't Kai. Marcus walked in. The same man from the bar, leather jacket traded for a suit, but the predator underneath unchanged. He smiled. Eris Vale, all alone. Her pulse spiked. "Marcus," she kept her voice level. "Kai will be back soon." "Will he?" Marcus moved closer. Not threatening, not yet, just invading space, testing boundaries. "Vincent likes to talk. Could be a while. Then I'll wait. Or we could talk. Get to know each other." He pulled out a chair, sat too close. "You and I, we're practically family now." Eris's hand found the stem of her wine glass. Not a weapon, but close enough. "What do you want?" Marcus leaned back, studied her like she was a puzzle he was deciding whether to solve or break. "I want to know why Kai Draven, who's never looked twice at a woman in his life, suddenly shows up engaged to a wildlife rehabilitator from nowhere. Maybe he fell in love. Maybe." Marcus's smile sharpened. "Or maybe he's running, and you're the smokescreen." Eris's heart hammered, but she didn't look away. "If you have questions, ask Kai. I'm asking you, and I'm telling you, talk to Kai." They stared at each other, the air between them crackling with tension. Then Marcus stood. "You're tougher than you look," he said, almost respectful. Almost. "That's good. You'll need to be." He walked out. Eris's hand shook. She set down the wine glass before it could shatter. 30 seconds later, Kai appeared in the doorway. His face was pale, his jaw tight. "We're leaving." "What? Now?" He grabbed her hand, pulled her out of the dining room, through the hallway, toward the front door. Vincent's voice echoed behind them. "Kai, don't make me regret this." Kai didn't stop, didn't look back. They hit the cold air running. The driver had the car ready, engine purring. Eris tumbled into the back seat. Kai followed, slamming the door. "Drive." The car moved. Eris twisted in her seat, watching the estate recede into the distance. Her breath came fast, shallow. What happened? Kai stared straight ahead. His hands were fists. "My father knows." The words dropped like stones into deep water. "Knows what?" Kai finally looked at her. And in his eyes, she saw something that made her blood run cold. That I'm planning something. He doesn't know what, but he knows. His voice dropped. "And he just told me. If I betray the family, he'll kill everyone I care about. Starting with you." Eris's world tilted. "He said that?" "He implied it. Same thing." Kai's jaw worked. "I'm sorry. I thought we had more time. I thought, well, so we're done. We end this now." "We can't." "Yes, we can. I walk away, you tell him it didn't work out." "If you walk away now, he'll know it was fake. And then he'll have Marcus put a bullet in your head just to make a point. The casual brutality of it stole her breath. So what do we do? Kai turned to face her fully. In the dim light of the car, he looked like a man on the edge of something terrible. We go deeper. Make it so real he can't question it. Sell the lie so hard that when the end comes, he never sees it coming. That's insane. Yeah. Kai's mouth twisted. It is. Eris looked at the ring on her finger, at the man beside her, at the choice she'd made 4 days ago that had just become a death sentence. She should have been terrified. Maybe she was. But beneath the fear, something else stirred, something reckless and furious and alive in a way she hadn't felt since before the funeral. Okay, she said. Kai blinked. Okay, we make it real, whatever that takes. She met his eyes. But if we're doing this, if we're going all in, then you owe me the truth. All of it. No more secrets. Kai hesitated. And in that hesitation, Eris saw the shadow of something he was still hiding. Kai, what aren't you telling me? He looked away, out at the window, at the city lights blurring past. When he spoke, his voice was barely audible over the engine. My endgame. The arrest, the takedown, it's bigger than I told you. How much bigger? It's not just my father's organization. It's the entire network. Both families, every connection, every deal, every dirty cop and politician in their pocket. He turned back to her. 41 arrests was a lie. It's closer to 200. And when it drops, there'll be a war. Yes. Eris's stomach dropped. And you were going to tell me this when? When you couldn't walk away. The honesty hit harder than the lie would have. You son of a... I know. Kai's voice was rough, raw. I know. But I'm telling you now, before it's too late, before you're in so deep you can't get out. He leaned closer. So I'm asking you again, knowing what this really is, knowing what happens when the dominoes fall. Are you in? Eris should have said no. Should have demanded he stop the car, let her out, let her disappear back into her small, quiet life. But she thought of Vincent's cold eyes, of Marcus's predatory smile, of a world built on violence and fear, grinding people into dust. And she thought of Kai, fractured, desperate, trying to burn it all down from the inside. I'm in, she said. Kai exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for years. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Eris's voice was hard. You said no more lies. That means everything. If there's anything else you're hiding, anything, you tell me now, or we're done. Kai was quiet for a long moment. Then, there's one more thing. Of course there was. Tell me. Your sister-in-law, Lena. Eris went very still. What about her? Kai's expression was unreadable in the shadows. Her maiden name was Volkov. The name meant nothing to Eris, but the way Kai said it, like dropping a bomb, told her it should. So the Volkovs are the other family, the ones in the power-sharing agreement with my father, the ones who'll go down when the arrests happen. Eris's blood turned to ice. Lena's connected? By blood. Her uncle runs the East Coast operations. She got out years ago before you knew her, changed her name, built a new life. But the connection's still there. Does she know? About you? I don't know. Does she know about the takedown? No, no one does except me and the feds. Eris's mind raced. Lena, steady, loyal Lena, was tied to the same world Kai was trying to destroy. When the arrests happen, she'll be questioned, maybe arrested as a precaution depending on what they find. But if she's been clean, she'll walk. If. Eris pressed her palms to her eyes. This was spiraling, fast. Anything else? No, that's everything. She looked at him, searching for the lie. She didn't find one. Okay, she said. Okay. We keep going. But if Lena gets hurt, if any of this blows back on her, I'm out, and I'm taking her with me. Understood? Understood. The car pulled up to Eris's apartment, small third-floor walk-up in a neighborhood that was only half gentrified. Home. She reached for the door handle, stopped. Kai. Yeah? That thing your father said, about killing everyone you care about. She turned to look at him. You told him I mattered. I had to sell it. Did you mean it? The question hung between them. Kai held her gaze, and for the first time since she'd met him, the mask cracked wide enough to see the man underneath. I don't know yet, he said quietly, but I think I'm starting to. Eris's breath caught. She got out of the car without another word. Kai watched from the window as she climbed the steps, unlocked her door, disappeared inside. Then the car pulled away, leaving her alone with the ring on her finger and the weight of a choice that might destroy them both. The apartment smelled like bleach and old coffee. Eris stood in the doorway for a full minute, keys still in her hand, listening to the radiator clank and hiss. Normal sounds. Ordinary sounds. The kind that used to mean safety. Now they just meant she was alone. She locked the door. 3 deadbolts. Not enough. The ring caught light as she moved through the dark living room. She stopped at the kitchen sink, twisted it off her finger, set it on the counter with a soft clink. Her hand looked naked without it. Wrong. She turned on the faucet, let cold water run over her wrists until her pulse stopped hammering. Vincent Draven's face floated behind her eyelids. That smile, cold as marble. Welcome to the family. And Marcus, circling, testing. And Kai with his smoke-gray eyes, and his carefully constructed lies, and his admission that she'd just stepped into something bigger than 41 arrests, bigger than one family's fall. 200 people. A war. Lena. Eris's stomach lurched. She gripped the counter, breathed through her nose until the nausea passed. Her phone buzzed. She ignored it. It buzzed again. She grabbed it, ready to throw it across the room if it was Kai. It was Lena. Lunch tomorrow? You've been ghost all week. Eris stared at the message, at the casual normalcy of it, at the sister-in-law who'd held her together after the funeral, who showed up with groceries and terrible movies and stayed until Eris could breathe again. Lena Volkov. Not Lena Chen, the name she'd used for the 8 years Eris had known her. Volkov. Eris typed back. Can't. Swamped at clinic. Rain check? The lie tasted like ash. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. You okay? No. Not even close. Yeah. Just tired. Okay, love you. Love you too. Eris set the phone down before she could say something stupid. Something true. She picked up the ring, slid it back on. It fit perfectly, like it had always belonged there. Yes. Morning came with gray light and the smell of rain. Eris dragged herself to the clinic at 6, an hour before opening, and threw herself into work. Physical labor, concrete problems, things she could control. The screech owl was recovering well, wing almost healed. Another week and they could do a flight test. The fox kit, Luna, she'd named her, was eating solid food now, gaining weight. Still skittish, but that was good. Wild animals should be afraid of humans. Eris cleaned enclosures, mixed formula, changed bandages. Let the routine drown out the noise in her head. It worked until 10. That's when the black sedan pulled up outside. Eris saw it through the window, her hand stilled on the bucket she was carrying. The back door opened. Kai stepped out. Different suit, navy this time, perfectly tailored. Hair still perfect despite the rain starting to fall. He looked like he'd stepped out of a magazine ad for things Eris would never afford. He also looked exhausted. She met him at the door before he could knock. What are you doing here? We need to be seen together. Kai's voice was flat, professional, like they were business associates, not 2 people who'd driven away from his father's house with a death threat hanging over them. Publicly, today. I'm working. Then I'll wait. Kai, please. That word again. The one that cracked his armor. Eris stepped back, let him in. The clinic was small, 2 exam rooms, a recovery area in the back, barely enough space for the cages and equipment. It smelled like antiseptic and cedar shavings. Nothing like Kai's world of marble floors and crystal glasses. He looked around, taking it in. This is what you do, he said. Not a question. Yeah. It's... He stopped, searched for words. It's good. Honest work. Unlike yours, his jaw tightened. Unlike mine, Eris went back to this bucket, started scrubbing an empty cage. Kai watched for a moment, then shrugged off his jacket, draped it over a chair. What can I do? She blinked. What? You're working. I'm here. Put me to use. You'll ruin your shirt. I have others. Eris studied him, looking for the angle, the performance. She didn't find one. Fine, there's an apron on the hook. Start cutting vegetables. 1-inch pieces. They're for the rabbit. Kai rolled up his sleeves. Found the apron, faded blue, with a cartoon hawk on the front that said, I'm a hoot. He put it on without comment. For the next hour, they worked in silence. Eris cleaned. Kai chopped vegetables with surprising precision, then moved on to mixing formula when she pointed him toward the supplies. It was strange, comfortable in a way that made no sense. You're good at this, Eris said finally. I worked in a restaurant kitchen when I was 17. Kai measured powder into a bottle, added water, shook it. Before my father found out and shut it down. Said it was beneath me. Was it? No, it was the last time I felt normal. Something in his voice made her look up. He was staring at the bottle in his hands, expression unreadable. Why'd you really come here? Eris asked. Kai set down the bottle, met her eyes. Because Marcus is having you followed. The words landed like a fist to the gut. What? I got word this morning. He put a tail on you. 2 men, rotating shifts. They've been watching your apartment since last night. Eris's breath came shallow. Why? Because he doesn't trust me, and he thinks you're the weak point. Kai's hands clenched. So we give him what he expects. A couple in love. Me showing up at your work, playing the devoted fiancé. Make it so convincing he stops looking for cracks. This is insane. Yes. We can't. We have to. Kai moved closer. Not touching, but close enough that she could see the shadows under his eyes, the tension in his shoulders. I know this isn't what you signed up for. I know it's getting worse instead of better, but if we back out now, we're dead. Yeah, you said. I'm sorry. Eris wanted to scream, wanted to throw something, wanted to rewind to a week ago when her biggest problem was fundraising for the clinic and loneliness that didn't come with a body count. Instead, she picked up a rag, started wiping down the counter. How long do we have? 4 weeks, maybe less if something accelerates the timeline. And these men watching me, they're dangerous? They won't touch you as long as Marcus thinks you're useful, but if he decides you're not, Kai didn't finish. He didn't have to. Eris threw the rag into the sink, spun to face him. I need to tell Lena. No. She's my family, and she's connected to the Volkovs. If you tell her, she becomes a liability to both of us. She has a right to know us. She has a right to live. Kai's voice went hard, sharp. Which she won't if Marcus finds out she knows anything about what I'm planning. So what? I just lie to her? For 4 more weeks? Yes. She'll know something's wrong. Then sell it better. The words hit like a slap. Eris stared at him, fury rising hot and fast. Get out! Kai didn't move. Eris, get out! Not until you understand. I understand perfectly. You need me to play pretend while people with guns watch my every move, and my sister-in-law walks around with a target on her back she doesn't even know about. Eris's voice shook. I understand that you've dragged me into a war I didn't ask for, and now I'm supposed to smile and act grateful for the privilege. That's not... Yes, it is. She stepped closer, close enough to see her reflection in his eyes. You want honesty? Here's some. I don't trust you. I don't like you. And the only reason I haven't walked out that door is because I'm too scared of what happens if I do. Kai's expression went blank, shuddered. Fair enough. He grabbed his jacket, walked toward the door, stopped with his hand on the handle. For what it's worth, he said quietly, not looking back, I don't blame you. Then he was gone. Eris stood alone in the clinic, heart pounding, hand shaking. The fox kit made a soft noise from her cage. Eris turned. Luna was watching her, dark eyes wide, alert, waiting to see if the human was a threat. Eris sank onto the floor, put her back against the wall, closed her eyes. Yeah, she whispered. Me too. Kai called 6 hours later. Eris almost didn't answer. Let it ring 4 times before she picked up. What? Dinner. 8 o'clock. Valentino's downtown. His voice was professional again, distant. Marcus will be there with my father. We need to be seen. I don't have anything to wear to Valentino's. I'm sending a dress. It'll be there in an hour. Kai, this isn't optional, Eris. Marcus is pushing. If we don't show, he'll interpret it as weakness. A pause. Please. She should have said no. Should have told him to find another fake fiancé, another Mark, another woman willing to play Russian roulette with her life. But the please and the exhaustion underneath it killed the refusal on her tongue. Fine. 8 o'clock. Thank you. He hung up. The dress arrived 53 minutes later. Black, elegant, cut to show confidence without trying too hard. It fit like it had been made for her. Probably had been. Eris stared at herself in the bathroom mirror. The woman looking back was a stranger, polished, expensive, someone who belonged at Valentino's, someone who belonged with Kai Draven. The lie was getting easier to believe. That scared her more than Marcus's men ever could. Valentino's was old money and dim lighting and waiters who moved like ghosts. The kind of place where entrees cost 3 figures and the wine list required a translator. Kai was already there when Eris arrived. He stood when he saw her and something flickered in his expression. Surprise, maybe. Or appreciation. He looked good. Charcoal suit, white shirt open at the collar, hair swept back, polished, perfect. Every inch the heir to an empire. You look, He stopped, started again. Beautiful. Don't. Don't what? Don't say things you don't mean. His jaw tightened, but he pulled out her chair without arguing. They sat. A waiter appeared instantly, poured wine neither of them had ordered. Eris scanned the room, found Vincent and Marcus at a table near the back, watching. They're here, she said quietly. I know. Kai reached across the table, took her hand. His palm was warm, steady. The touch sent electricity up her arm. Smile, he murmured. She did. Let it reach her eyes. Let her thumb brush across his knuckles, a gesture of intimacy that felt dangerously real. Marcus saw it. She watched his expression shift, calculating. He's not buying it, Eris said through her smile. He doesn't have to buy it. He just has to doubt. Kai leaned closer. Tell me something true. What? Something real. About you. Something Marcus can't fake check or twist. His eyes held hers. Trust me. It was a test. She knew it. But the way he asked, raw, almost desperate, made her answer. I wanted kids, she said. Before my husband died. We were trying. I was 3 weeks pregnant when the accident happened. Kai went very still. I lost the baby 2 days after the funeral. Miscarriage. Stress, they said. Her voice stayed steady, barely. Lena's the only one who knows. I never told anyone else. I'm sorry. Don't be. It was 3 years ago. That doesn't make it hurt less. No, it didn't. Erisa looked down at their joined hands, at the ring-catching candlelight. Your turn, she said. Something true. Kai was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was barely audible. I killed someone when I was 19. The confession hit like cold water. What? My father's orders. A rival who'd gotten too bold. He handed me a gun and told me to prove I was his son. Kai's eyes were distant, haunted. I pulled the trigger because I was more afraid of disappointing him than I was of taking a life. Eris's throat went dry. Do you regret it? Every day? She believed him, saw it in the set of his shoulders, the shadows in his eyes. Is that why you're doing this? The takedown? Part of it. Kai's thumb traced circles on her palm. Unconscious. Or calculated. She couldn't tell. I can't undo what I did, but I can make sure no one else has to make that choice. They sat in silence. The restaurant buzzed around them, laughter, clinking glasses, the soft murmur of conversation. They're still watching, Eris said. Yeah. What now? Kai pulled his hand back, signaled the waiter. Now we eat, and we pretend this is normal. It wasn't. Nothing about this was normal. But Eris picked up her menu anyway. Good. The meal was exquisite. Eris barely tasted it. Vincent approached their table during dessert. Marcus trailing behind like a shadow. Kai. Vincent's voice carried warmth that didn't reach his eyes. Eris. Enjoying yourselves. Always. Kai stood, shook his father's hand. The gesture looked natural, easy, a performance perfected over decades. Vincent turned to Eris. May I? He gestured to the empty chair beside her. Every instinct screamed to say no, but she smiled. Of course. Vincent sat. Marcus remained standing, looming. I wanted to apologize for last night, Vincent said. I came on strong. Old habits. It's fine, Eris said. I understand family can be complicated. Diplomatic, Vincent smiled. Kai chose well. The compliment felt like a trap. I'm lucky, Eris said. Let her hand find Kai's across the table. Felt his fingers tighten around hers. Vincent's eyes tracked the movement, calculating, always calculating. How did you two meet? Kai's been vague. Here it was, the test. A bar, Eris said, keeping it simple, close to the truth. The copper rail. I was there alone. He sat down next to me. We started talking. And he made me laugh. She looked at Kai. Let the memory of that night, the fear, the desperation, the diamond hitting the bar like a gunshot, fill her eyes with something that looked like fondness. First time in years anyone had done that. It wasn't a lie. Not entirely. Vincent studied her, then nodded. Love is rare in our world, he said. Treasure it while you can. The words sounded like a threat. Vincent stood. Marcus stepped back to let him pass. Enjoy your evening. They walked away. Eris didn't exhale until they were out the door. That was a warning, Kai finished. His face was pale. He's telling me he's watching, that he knows something's off. So what do we do? We escalate. Meaning? Kai looked at her, and in his eyes, she saw a man making a decision he knew would cost him. Meaning you move in with me. Eris's stomach dropped. No. Eris, absolutely not. That wasn't the deal. The deal changed the second Marcus put men on you. Kai's voice was tight, controlled. If we're engaged, we live together. That's what convinces them this is real. I have a life, which you'll lose if Marcus decides you're a liability. He leaned forward. I know what I'm asking, but this is the only way to keep you safe. Safe. The word tasted bitter. I haven't been safe since I met you. I know. Something raw crossed his face. I know, but I'm trying to use me, like everyone else in your life. The words landed hard. Kai flinched. That's not... He stopped. Started again. You're right. I am using you. But not like them. Never like them. Then what's the difference? The difference is I'm asking, not taking. And if you say no, if you walk right now, I'll let you go. I'll tell Marcus it fell apart. Take the hit. Whatever happens next, I'll handle it alone. Eris stared at him, searching for the lie. She didn't find one. You mean that? Yes. The restaurant hummed around them. Normal people having normal nights. No one watching them. No one waiting to see if they'd slip. Eris thought of her apartment, small, safe, hers. She thought of Lena, the clinic, the life she'd built from ashes and grief. She thought of Vincent's smile, Marcus's eyes, the men watching her building, and she thought of Kai, fractured, desperate, trying to burn down an empire with nothing but lies and hope. 1 month, she said. Kai's eyes widened. What? 1 month. I'll move in, play the part. But when this is over, when the arrests happen, I'm gone. No looking back. No second chances. Agreed. And Lena stays out of it. Whatever happens, she doesn't get hurt. I'll do everything I can. No, promise me. On whatever's left of your soul. Lena walks away clean. Kai held her gaze. I promise. Eris picked up her wine glass, drained it. When do we start? Tomorrow. Great. She stood. I need to go home. Pack. Try to figure out how to explain this to the people who actually care about me. Kai stood with her. I'll drive you. I'll take a cab. Eris. I need space, Kai. Just an hour to process. He nodded slowly. Okay, but text me when you're home. Why? Because I need to know you're safe. The sincerity in his voice made her chest tighten. She left without another word. The cab ride home was 15 minutes of silence and rain against the windows. Eris stared at the city sliding past, neon signs blurring into streaks of color. Her phone buzzed. Lena. Seriously, are you okay? You've been weird for days. Eris's fingers hovered over the keyboard. She typed, I'm seeing someone. 3 dots appeared immediately. What? Who? Details now. His name is Kai. We met a week ago. It's fast. But good. Not entirely a lie. A week? Eris, that's insane in a good way. Maybe. I need to meet him. Eris closed her eyes. You will. Soon. Promise. Okay, but seriously, are you happy? Was she? No, not even close, but she typed, yeah, I think so. Good. You deserve it. Eris's throat tightened. Love you more. Don't be a stranger. Eris set the phone down. The cab pulled up to her building. She paid, climbed out into the rain, stopped on the sidewalk. 2 men, one leaning against a lamppost half a block down, another sitting in a parked car across the street, watching. Eris's pulse kicked, but she didn't run, didn't react. She walked up the steps, unlocked the door, went inside, locked it behind her, leaned against it, breathed. Then she pulled out her phone, texted Kai. I'm home. Your shadows are obvious. His response came instantly. I know. They're supposed to be. Reminder that you're not alone. I've never felt more alone in my life. She sent it before she could stop herself. The 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. I'm sorry. Eris didn't respond, just stared at the screen until it went dark. Then she started packing. But morning came with the slam of a car door outside. Eris was halfway through her second cup of coffee when the knock came. She'd been awake since 4, throwing clothes into a suitcase, trying to figure out how to pack a life into boxes when she didn't know if she'd ever come back to it. She opened the door. Kai stood there with 2 men in dark suits. Movers, she realized. Professional. Silent. I thought we said tomorrow, Eris said. Change of plans. Marcus accelerated. Kai's face was grim. He wants to have dinner with us. Tonight. At the estate. As a couple. Living together. You're kidding. I wish I was. The movers moved past her into the apartment. Started cataloging boxes with quiet efficiency. Eris stepped into the hall, pulled the door half closed. This is moving too fast. I know. I haven't even told Lena. Then tell her. Now. Before Marcus does. Kai ran a hand through his hair, the first crack she'd seen in his composure since last night. He's digging, Eris. Into you. Into everyone you know. If he finds something we haven't accounted for, he'll use it. Yeah. Eris pulled out her phone, stared at Lena's name in her contacts. What do I say? The truth. That you're moving in with your fiancée. She's going to ask questions. Then answer them. Just don't mention the families, don't mention the takedown. Keep it about us. Us. Like they were real. Eris dialed before she could overthink it. Lena answered on the second ring. Oh, thank God you're alive. I was starting to think you'd been kidnapped. Lena, is this about the mystery guy? Please tell me this is about the mystery guy because I've been losing my mind trying to figure out. I'm moving in with him. Silence. Then, I'm sorry, what? Kai, the man I'm seeing. I'm moving in with him today. More silence. Eris could hear Lena breathing, processing. Eris, you've known him a week. I know. A week, and you're moving in. Yes. Are you pregnant? What? No. Are you in trouble? Is this some kind of... I love him. The lie came out smooth, easy, too easy. I know it sounds crazy, but it's real, and I need to do this. Lena was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice was careful, measured. I want to meet him. Today. Eris's stomach dropped. That's not non-negotiable. You're my family, Eris. I'm not letting you move in with some stranger without looking him in the eye first. Steel underneath the warmth. Lunch? Noon. The diner on 5th. Eris looked at Kai. He was watching her, eyes sharp. She mouthed, Lena wants to meet you. He nodded, mouthed back, okay. Noon works, Eris said into the phone. Good. And Eris? Yeah? If he's hurt you, if any of this is because you're scared or trapped, you tell me, and I'll handle it. The fierce protectiveness in Lena's voice made Eris's chest ache. I know, but I'm okay. I promise. Another lie. They were stacking up like corpses. See you at noon, Lena said, and hung up. Eris lowered the phone, looked at Kai. She wants to meet you. I heard. This is bad. Maybe, or maybe it helps. Kai stepped closer. If she approves, if she buys the story, it adds credibility, makes it harder for Marcus to poke holes. And if she doesn't buy it, then we convince her. Kai, we don't have a choice, Eris. Not anymore. He was right. They both knew it. Eris watched the movers carry boxes out of her apartment, her life, dismantled, packed away. Okay, she said, noon, but if this goes sideways, it won't. She wished she believed him. The diner on 5th was aggressively normal. Red vinyl booze, checkered floors, coffee that tasted like battery acid and nostalgia. Eris had been coming here for years. It felt like neutral ground. Until Lena walked in. She spotted them immediately. Eris saw the moment Lena's eyes landed on Kai. The assessment, the calculation, the protective fury simmering underneath. Lena slid into the booth across from them. Hi, she said to Eris, then turning to Kai. You must be the reason my sister-in-law has been MIA for a week. Kai extended his hand. Kai Draven. And yes, I'm sorry about that. Lena shook his hand, held it a beat too long, studying him. Lena Chen. Eris caught the lie. Chen, not Volkov. Did Kai? His expression didn't flicker. Eris has told me a lot about you. Funny, she's told me almost nothing about you. Lena leaned back, arms crossed. So let's fix that. What do you do, Kai? I work in acquisitions. Corporate restructuring. Smooth, vague, could mean anything. And you met my sister-in-law at a bar. Yes. Then decided to move in together after a week. Yes. That's insane. I know. Kai looked at Eris. Something shifted in his expression, softer, more open. But sometimes you meet someone and you just know. Lena's eyes narrowed. Know what? That everything before them was just marking time. The words hit Eris like a physical blow. She stared at him, searching for the performance. She couldn't find it. Lena must have seen something in Eris's face because her posture relaxed. Slightly. Okay. Next question. What are your intentions with my sister-in-law? To make her happy, if she'll let me. And if you hurt her? Kai's jaw tightened. Then I deserve whatever you do to me. Silence stretched. A waitress appeared, poured coffee, vanished. Lena picked up her cup, took a sip, never breaking eye contact with Kai. I don't trust you, she said finally. I wouldn't either. But Eris does, and that's the only reason you're still sitting here. Understood. Lena turned to Eris. You're sure about this? Eris felt the weight of it, the lie, the performance, the truth buried underneath. Yeah, she said. I'm sure. Lena studied her for a long moment, then sighed. Okay, but I'm keeping an eye on you. She pointed at Kai. Both of you. Wouldn't expect anything less, Kai said. They ordered food, made small talk. Lena asked questions, where Kai grew up, what he liked to do, normal things. Kai answered with practiced ease, weaving truths and lies so seamlessly Eris couldn't tell where one ended and the other began. And through it all, she watched Lena, her sister-in-law, her anchor, the woman who'd saved her life more times than she could count, Lena Volkov. Connected to the empire Kai was about to destroy. Eris's stomach twisted. "I need the bathroom," she said abruptly. She slid out of the booth, walked to the back of the diner on legs that felt unsteady, locked herself in a stall, pressed her palms against the cold metal door, breathed. This was wrong, all of it. Lying to Lena, dragging her into this without telling her, pretending everything was fine when reality was a grenade with the pin half pulled. The bathroom door opened. Footsteps. "Eris?" Lena's voice. Eris unlocked the stall, stepped out. Lena was leaning against the sink, arms crossed. Worried. "Talk to me." "I'm fine." "Bullshit. You look like you're about to throw up." "I'm just overwhelmed. Big changes, you know?" Lena moved closer, took Eris's hands in hers. "Is he good to you?" "Yes." "Do you love him?" The question landed like a punch. Eris opened her mouth, closed it. "I don't know," she said honestly. "Maybe. It's complicated." "Love usually is." Lena squeezed her hands. "But if you need out, if any of this is too much, you call me, day or night, and I'll get you out. No questions asked." Tears burned behind Eris's eyes. "I know. Promise me." "I promise." Lena pulled her into a hug, held tight. And Eris closed her eyes, memorizing the feeling, because she had a sinking suspicion that in 4 weeks, when the world exploded and the arrests came down and Lena's name got dragged into the wreckage, this moment would be the last time her sister-in-law looked at her without hate. They went back to the table. Kai was paying the check. "Ready?" he asked. Eris nodded. Lena walked them out, hugged Eris again on the sidewalk. "Be happy," she said. "You deserve it." Another lie Eris would carry. They drove away. Lena disappeared in the rearview mirror, and Eris wondered if she'd just said goodbye. Kai's penthouse was glass and steel and money. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, marble countertops, furniture that cost more than Eris's annual salary. It felt like a museum, beautiful, empty, cold. "Guest room's down the hall," Kai said. "Ensuite bathroom. Your things should be there already." Eris nodded, walked to the room he'd indicated. It was bigger than her old apartment, king bed, walk-in closet, windows that framed the skyline like art. Her boxes were stacked neatly in the corner. She stood there staring at them, at her life, reduced to cardboard and tape. Kai appeared in the doorway. "We need to go over tonight." "I know." "Dinner at 7. My father, Marcus, maybe 2 others from the inner circle. You'll sit next to me, answer questions, be charming." "Charming, right, while I lie to a dying man and his enforcer watches for mistakes." "Eris, what happens when they figure it out, Kai?" She turned to face him. "When all of this falls apart and they realize I've been lying the whole time, what happens to me?" He didn't answer immediately, just stood there, backlit by the hallway, shadows carving his face into harsh angles. "You'll be in protective custody before the arrests happen. Federal agents, safe house, new identity if you want it. And Lena? If she's clean, she'll be fine." If, Eris laughed, a hollow, bitter sound. "This is insane, you know that, right? All of it. This whole plan it's all I have." Kai stepped into the room. "It's all I've ever had. This one chance to make it right, to stop the cycle before it crushes another generation." His voice dropped, raw. "So yeah, it's insane, but it's the only way out. And if it doesn't work, then I die. Marcus kills me. Or my father does. Or the feds decide I'm more useful as an informant than a witness, and I spend the rest of my life looking over my shoulder." He met her eyes. "But you'll be safe. That's the one thing I can guarantee." "Why?" "Why what? Why do you care if I'm safe? I'm just a tool. A means to an end." Kai flinched. "Is that what you think?" "I don't know what to think anymore." He moved closer, close enough that she could see the exhaustion in his eyes, the weight he carried, the fractures in his armor. "You're not a tool," he said quietly. "You're the only real thing in my life right now. The only person who looks at me and doesn't see a weapon or an heir or a thing to be used." His hand lifted, hesitated, fell back to his side. "So yeah, I care if you're safe more than I should." Eris's breath caught. Kai. His phone buzzed. He checked it. His expression hardened. Marcus, he's confirmed for tonight, bringing 2 of his lieutenants. Okay. Eris, I'll be ready. She turned away. Just give me an hour to get my head straight. Kai nodded, left. Eris sank onto the bed, stared at her hands, at the ring that felt heavier every day, and wondered how much longer she could keep this up before the weight of it crushed her completely. Kick. Dinner was a nightmare wrapped in expensive wine and linen napkins. Vincent presided at the head of the table, pale but commanding. Sickness hadn't dulled his presence. If anything, it sharpened it, like a blade honed by mortality. Marcus sat to his right. 2 men Eris didn't recognize flanked the table. Hard faces, dead eyes, the kind of men who'd bury a body and forget about it by morning. Kai sat beside her. His hand found hers under the table. Squeezed. You're okay. We're okay. Except they weren't. Eris, Vincent's voice cut through the conversation. Kai tells me you've moved in. Yes, this morning. Fast. When you know, you know. Vincent smiled. Indeed. The first course arrived. Eris forced herself to eat, to smile, to play the part. Marcus watched her the entire time, silent, calculating. Tell me, Eris, he said during the second course. Do you have family besides Kai? The question felt like a trap. A sister-in-law, Lena. She's my family. Close? Very. And she approves of Kai? She wants me to be happy. That's not an answer. Eris met his eyes, held his gaze. She approves. Marcus's mouth curved. Good. Family is important, especially in our world. The words hung heavy, loaded. Kai's hand tightened on hers under the table. The conversation moved on. Business talk, veiled references to operations and territories. Eris tuned it out, focused on breathing, on not screaming. Then Vincent stood. A toast, he said, raised his glass. To Kai and Eris, may your union be long and fruitful. Everyone drank. Eris forced the wine down. It tasted like ashes. Dessert came. Coffee. Finally, mercifully, the meal ended. Vincent pulled Kai aside. Marcus cornered Eris near the bar. You handled yourself well tonight, he said. Thank you. But I'm curious, he leaned closer. What's a wildlife rehabilitator doing with a man like Kai Draven? Loving him. Love. Marcus laughed. Soft. Dangerous. Love is a weakness. In this world, it gets you killed. Then maybe this isn't my world. Oh, but it is now, the moment you put on that ring. He tapped the diamond on her finger. You became part of it, and there's no walking away, not anymore. Eris's pulse hammered, but she didn't flinch. Is that a threat? Just a fact. Kai appeared at her elbow. We should go. Marcus stepped back, smiled. Of course. Newlyweds need their privacy. They left without another word. The drive back was silent. Eris stared out the window. Kai stared at the road. When they pulled into the garage, neither moved. He's on to us, Eris said. I know. So what do? We accelerate the timeline, get the evidence to the feds faster, push the arrests up. How much faster? 2 weeks, maybe less. Kai. I know it's not enough time, but Marcus is pushing. If we wait, he'll find something, and then… Kai didn't finish. He didn't have to. They rode the elevator up in silence. The penthouse was dark, cold. Eris headed straight for her room, stopped at the door, turned back. Kai was standing in the living room, hands in his pockets, staring out at the city. Kai, he looked up. If this goes wrong, if Marcus figures it out before the arrests happen, promise me you'll get Lena out first. Eris, promise me. His jaw tightened. I promise. She nodded, went to her room, closed the door, locked it, then sank to the floor and let herself shake. Mosim. 3 days later, everything shattered. Eris was at the clinic when Lena called. We need to talk. The tone made Eris's stomach drop. What's wrong? Not over the phone. Meet me at my place. Now. Lena? The line went dead. Eris's hands shook as she grabbed her coat, told the volunteer she was leaving, drove too fast through midday traffic to Lena's apartment across town. Lena answered the door before she could knock. Her face was pale, eyes red. Inside. Now. Eris stepped in. The door slammed behind her. Lena, what? Who is he? Lena's voice was barely controlled fury. Who is Kai Draven, really? Ice flooded Eris's veins. What are you talking about? Don't you dare lie to me right now. Lena grabbed her phone, pulled up a photo, shoved it in Eris's face. It was Kai, standing with Vincent, Marcus, other men in expensive suits, the caption underneath, Draven heir spotted at charity gala. Sources confirm succession plans in motion. Eris's world tilted. Lena, Draven, Lena's voice cracked. You're engaged to a Draven. Do you have any idea, any concept of what that means? I know. No, you don't. Lena backed away, ran her hands through her hair. My family, my blood family, they're connected to the Dravens, through business, through... She stopped, swallowed hard. I left that world. I changed my name. I built a new life because I couldn't live with what they did. Eris's heart hammered. Lena, and now you're marrying into it. Lena's eyes filled with tears. How could you not tell me? I didn't know you were connected. Bullshit. You knew something. You've been lying for weeks. I was trying to protect you. Protect me? Lena laughed, bitter, broken. From what? The truth? Or from the fact that you've dragged me back into the one thing I've spent a decade running from? The words landed like shrapnel. Eris stepped forward. Lena, please, let me explain. Explain what? That you fell in love with a man whose family built their fortune on blood? That you're so desperate to feel something you didn't care who you hurt? That's not... Then what is it? Lena's voice rose. Because from where I'm standing, you've either been lying to me or lying to yourself, and I don't know which is worse. Eris's throat closed. Words died before they could form. Lena turned away, shoulders shaking. I need you to leave. Lena. Now. Before I say something we can't take back. Eris stood there, frozen, watching her sister-in-law, the woman who'd held her together when the world fell apart, come undone. Because of her. Because of Kai. Because of a lie that was eating them all alive. She left. Drove back to the penthouse with tears blurring her vision. Found Kai in his office, surrounded by files and laptops and evidence that would bring down an empire. He looked up when she walked in, saw her face, stood. What happened? Eris couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. She just handed him her phone, the photo Lena had shown her. Kai stared at it. His expression went cold. Where did she get this? I don't know, but she knows, Kai. She knows who you are, what your family does. Eris's voice broke. And she thinks I betrayed her. Did you tell her about the takedown? No, but it doesn't matter. Eris sank into a chair. She's done with me. Kai set down the phone, paced. This is bad. I know. If Marcus finds out Lena knows, he'll kill her or use her against us. The reality of it settled like lead in Eris's stomach. We have to tell her, Eris said. Everything, the plan, the arrests, give her a chance to protect herself. If we tell her, she becomes a witness, a target. Every move she makes, Marcus will track. She's already a target. The second that photo went public, she became one. Kai stopped pacing, looked at her. What are you saying? I'm saying we bring her in. Now. Before Marcus does. Eris stood. We tell her everything. Give her the choice we never got. And then we protect her. Together. Eris, this is non-negotiable, Kai. She's my family. If she goes down because of us, I'll never forgive myself. She stepped closer. And I'll never forgive you. Silence stretched between them. Then Kai nodded. Okay. We tell her. Tonight. Tonight. He pulled out his phone, made a call. Eris listened as he arranged a secure location. Federal agents on standby. Contingencies stacking like dominoes. When he hung up, he looked at her. This changes everything. I know. Once we tell her, there's no going back, for any of us. Eris thought of Lena's face, the betrayal, the tears. We're already past the point of no return. Kai's eyes held hers, and in them she saw the same truth she felt in her bones. This was it. The moment everything accelerated beyond control. The moment the lie became real. And the moment they both knew whatever happened next would leave scars that never healed. The safe house was a concrete box 40 minutes outside the city. No windows. Steel door with 3 locks, a table, 4 chairs, fluorescent lights that buzzed like dying insects. Lena sat across from them, arms crossed, jaw tight. She hadn't said a word since the federal agents brought her in. Just stared at Kai like she was deciding which piece of him to break first. Agent Sarah Chen stood in the corner, mid-40s, sharp eyes, the kind of woman who'd seen too much to be shocked by anything. She'd been Kai's contact for 2 years. The one building the case, the one who'd promised him protection in exchange for evidence. Now she watched the 3 of them like a scientist observing rats in a maze. "Talk," Lena said finally. Her voice was ice. "And it better be good." Kai leaned forward, hands flat on the table. No pretense now, no performance. "My father runs the Draven organization, trafficking, money laundering, murder for hire. You know this already. I know your family destroys lives for profit. Yeah. I've spent 2 years building a federal case to collapse the entire structure. Every deal, every connection. 200 arrests across 4 states, simultaneous strikes designed to prevent retaliation." Lena's eyes narrowed. 200. Yes, including the Volkovs. Yes. The word landed like a gunshot. Lena's face went white, then red, then something beyond rage. "You're going after my family. Your former family," Kai said carefully. "The ones you left, the ones you've been running from." "That doesn't give you the right. They're criminals, Lena. They traffic weapons, drugs, people." His voice hardened. "How many lives have they destroyed? How many bodies are buried because of them?" "And you're different?" Lena's laugh was sharp, cutting. "Your hands are clean? Your family's better?" "No, that's the point." Kai's jaw tightened. "None of us are better. That's why it all has to come down." Lena turned to Eris. The betrayal in her eyes made Eris want to disappear. "And you knew about this." "Not at first," Eris said. Her voice sounded hollow, distant. "He told me, some of it. Not everything. Not about your connection until what? Until it was too late to warn me? I wanted to protect you. By lying?" Lena stood. The chair scraped against concrete. "By dragging me into this without telling me? By letting me think you'd found someone who made you happy when really you were just, what, playing spy?" "It's not like that." "Then what's it like, Eris?" Lena's voice cracked. "Because from where I'm standing, you used our friendship, our trust, to get close to a man who's planning to destroy what's left of my blood family. And you didn't think I deserved to know." The words hit like shrapnel, each one tearing deeper. Eris stood. "Lena, don't." Lena held up a hand. "Don't apologize. Don't explain. Just tell me one thing. Anything. Do you love him?" The question hung in the air. Eris looked at Kai, at the man who'd pulled her into his nightmare, who'd made her complicit in a war she didn't understand, who'd looked at her like she was the only real thing in his world. "I don't know," she said honestly. Lena's expression shuddered. "Then you're a fool." She walked to the door. Agent Chen moved to block her. "You can't leave," Chen said. Not unkind, just factual. "Not until we've secured your safety." "Secured my—" Lena laughed, bitter, broken. "You think I'm in danger?" "Yes," Kai said. "Marcus knows about you, about your connection to Eris. If he connects the dots, if he figures out your Volkov blood, he'll use you. Against me, against the case, against everyone." "So what? I'm a prisoner now?" "You're a witness," Chen said, "and a potential asset. If you cooperate, if you provide information about the Volkov operations, we can offer you full immunity, protection, a new identity if you want it." Lena stared at her. "You want me to turn on my family. I want you to survive." "Same thing, isn't it?" Lena's hands clenched. Betray them or die. That's the choice. That's always been the choice, Kai said quietly. In this world, you know that better than anyone. Lena turned to him, and the look in her eyes, cold, calculating, dangerous, made Eris's stomach drop. How long? Lena asked. What? How long have you known? About me? About my connection? Kai hesitated. That hesitation told Lena everything. From the beginning, she said. Not a question, a conclusion. You knew when you met Eris. When you put that ring on her finger, you knew her sister-in-law was Volkov blood, and you used it. No, Yes. Lena stepped closer. You used her to get to me, to flip me, to add another name to your list of arrests. That's not... Then why didn't you tell her? Lena's voice rose. If I'm just collateral damage, if you really didn't care about my connection, why hide it? Kai's mouth opened, closed. He had no answer, because Lena was right. Eris felt the floor drop out from under her. Kai. Her voice was barely a whisper. Tell me she's wrong. He looked at her, and in his eyes, she saw the truth. The ugly, terrible truth he'd been hiding since the beginning. I didn't know, he said. Not at first. Not when I approached you at the bar. That was random, desperate, real. But you found out, Eris said. The next day, when I ran your background, standard security check, your connection to Lena came up, and her maiden name. He stopped, swallowed. I should have told you then. I know, but I thought, if you knew, you'd walk away. And I needed me, Eris finished, numb. You needed me to keep playing the part, to give you access to Lena when the time came. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? She stepped toward him, fury replacing shock. Because it sounds like you've been lying since day one, using me, using her, using everyone to build your case and fuck the collateral damage. I was trying to protect you. By lying, by hiding the fact that my sister-in-law was part of your endgame? Her voice shook. When were you going to tell me, Kai? When the arrests happened. When federal agents dragged Lena out of her apartment in handcuffs. She's not being arrested, but she could have been. If she hadn't cut ties. If she'd stayed involved. Eris's hands clenched. You were willing to risk that. To sacrifice her. To sacrifice me. All for your precious takedown. That's not fair. Fair? The word came out sharp, vicious. You want to talk about fair? You pulled me into a war, put targets on our backs, made me lie to the one person who's been there for me through everything. And you did it knowing that it could destroy her. I did it to save lives, Kai shot back. Hundreds of them. Thousands. People who'll never be trafficked or extorted or killed because I ended this. And what about us? Eris's voice broke. What about the lives you're destroying to make that happen? Silence fell like a hammer. Agent Chen cleared her throat. We need to move forward. Lena, we need your decision. Are you in or out? Lena looked at Eris, then at Kai. If I cooperate, if I give you information, what happens to my uncle? Prison, Chen said. Life sentence, multiple counts. He'll never see daylight again. And my cousins, the ones who had nothing to do with operations? If they're clean, they walk. If not, they face charges. Lena was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice was hollow. My uncle took me in when my parents died, raised me, kept me safe when the world was trying to break me. She looked at Chen. He's also a monster who's destroyed more lives than I can count. I left because I couldn't live with what he'd become. So help us stop him, Chen said. Lena's jaw tightened. Fine. I'll cooperate. I'll give you everything I know, but... She turned to Eris. We're done. You and me. After this. The words cut deeper than any blade. Lena, no. You made your choice. You chose him. His war. His lies. Lena's eyes filled with tears. I would have done anything for you, Eris, anything. And you threw it away for a man you don't even love. She walked out. Agent Chen followed, leaving Eris and Kai alone in the concrete box with the dying fluorescent lights. Eris stood there, shaking, fury and grief warring in her chest. Say something, Kai said finally, She looked at him. Really looked. At the man who'd pulled her into his nightmare with a diamond ring and a desperate lie. I trusted you, she said. I broke every rule I had. Put my life on hold. Lied to the people I love. All because you said no lies between us. Ever. I meant that... No, you didn't. Her voice was dead calm now, colder than she'd ever heard it. You meant it when it was convenient, when the truth didn't cost you anything. But the second it mattered, the second telling me the truth might have made me walk away, you hid it. I was trying to protect the case. The case? Eris laughed, sharp, bitter. The case is all that matters, isn't it? Not me. Not Lena. Not the lives you're shredding to build your perfect takedown. That's not true. Then prove it. She stepped closer. Tell me right now. If you had to choose between the case and me, which would you pick? Kai's face went pale. Eris, answer the question. He looked away, and that was the answer. Eris nodded slowly. Right. She walked to the door. Where are you going? Away from you. You can't. Marcus's men are still out there. I don't care. She spun back. I don't care about Marcus or your father or this whole rotting empire you're trying to burn down. I'm done. If you leave now, you're dead by morning. Then I'm dead. She grabbed the door handle. At least I'll die honest. Eris, please, don't. She held up a hand. Don't beg. Don't apologize. We're past that. She pulled the door open. Agent Chen was waiting in the hallway. I need to leave, Eris said. That's not advisable. I don't care. Either you let me go or I walk out myself. Chen studied her, then sighed. I'll arrange a protective detail. Unmarked car. They'll follow at a distance. Fine. Chen made a call. 2 minutes later, a young agent appeared. Baby-faced. Couldn't be more than 25. Agent Rodriguez will take you wherever you need to go, Chen said. But I strongly recommend you reconsider. I won't. Eris walked past her, past Kai standing in the doorway of the safe house, looking like a man watching his world collapse. Good. Let him feel it. Let him drown in the wreckage he'd created. She climbed into the unmarked sedan. Rodriguez got behind the wheel. Where to? The clinic. He nodded. Pulled out. Eris watched the safe house recede in the side mirror, watched Kai disappear, and felt nothing. Numbness settled over her like a shroud. Better than the alternative. Better than feeling the full weight of what she'd just lost. Lena, her anchor, her family, gone. Because she'd been stupid enough to trust a man who didn't know how to tell the truth. They drove in silence. The city lights blurred past. Normal people living normal lives. Going to dinner, watching movies, falling in love without wondering if their partner was using them to dismantle a criminal empire. Rodriguez's phone buzzed. He checked it, frowned. Everything okay? Eris asked. Yeah, just... He hesitated. Agent Chen wants me to confirm your destination. The clinic, I told you. Right, sorry. He typed something, set the phone down. They drove. Eris closed her eyes. Tried to think, to plan, to figure out what came next. She'd need to leave the city, change her name. Maybe head west. California. Somewhere warm where winter didn't feel like dying. Start over. Again. The thought exhausted her. She opened her eyes. They were on the wrong street. This isn't the way to the clinic, she said. Rodriguez didn't respond. Hey, you missed the turn. Still nothing. Eris's pulse kicked. She sat up straighter. Where are we going? Rodriguez met her eyes in the rearview mirror and smiled. It was wrong, all wrong, cold and sharp and nothing like the baby-faced agent from 5 minutes ago. Change of plans, he said. Eris grabbed the door handle, locked. She tried the window. Child safety locks. Panic flooded her veins. Let me out. Can't do that. Boss wants to meet you. What boss? Chen? Rodriguez laughed. Not quite. He turned down an alley, pulled up behind a black SUV. 3 men got out. Eris recognized one of them, Marcus. Her blood turned to ice. No, no, no! She yanked at the door, pounded the window. Help! Someone! The door opened from outside. Hands grabbed her, pulled her out. She fought, kicked, screamed. A hand clamped over her mouth, an arm around her waist. She was dragged toward the SUV. Marcus watched, amused. "Hello, Eris," he said. "We need to talk." She bit the hand over her mouth, tasted blood. The man holding her swore, slapped her. Stars exploded behind her eyes. When her vision cleared, she was in the SUV, hands zip-tied behind her back. Marcus sitting across from her. He held up a phone. Kai's contact photo filled the screen. "You're going to call him," Marcus said, "and you're going to tell him to come alone. No feds, no backup, just him." "Fuck you," Marcus sighed. "I was hoping you'd cooperate." He nodded to the man beside her. Pain exploded in her ribs. She doubled over, gasping. "That was a love tap," Marcus said. "Next one breaks bones. So let's try again." He held out the phone. "Call him." Eris spat blood. "No. You're loyal. I respect that." Marcus set down the phone, leaned back. "But loyalty's expensive. Let me show you the cost." He pulled out another phone. Pulled up a photo. Lena. Walking out of the safe house. Eris's stomach dropped. "We've had eyes on her for days," Marcus said. "Knew she was Volkov blood before you did. Been waiting for the right moment to leverage it. You touch her. Bush just law os baye. I won't have to, if you cooperate." He smiled. "Simple equation. You call Kai. He comes. We have a conversation. Everyone lives. You refuse." He shrugged. "Well, accidents happen. And your sister-in-law seems like the type who jogs alone at night." Eris's vision blurred. Rage and terror and helplessness crushing her lungs. "What do you want?" "I want to know what Kai's planning. I want names, dates, how deep the federal investigation goes." Marcus leaned forward. "And I want him. In person. So we can have a family discussion about loyalty." "He'll know it's a trap." "Maybe. But he'll come anyway." Marcus's smile widened. "Because he cares about you. More than he should. More than is smart. I saw it at dinner, the way he looked at you. Like you mattered." "I don't." "Oh, but you do. You're his weakness, the crack in his armor." Marcus picked up the phone again. Held it out. "So call him, or I send my men to visit Lena. Your choice." Eris stared at the phone, at the choice that wasn't a choice, at the trap she'd walked into because she'd been too angry to think clearly. Her hand shook as she took the phone. Marcus cut the zip ties. "Smart girl." She dialed Kai's number. He answered on the first ring. "Eris." "They have me." Her voice broke. "Marcus, he has me. And he wants you." Silence on the other end, then, "Where?" "I don't know. Warehouse, maybe? East side?" Marcus grabbed the phone. "The old shipping yard, Pier 17, 1 hour. You come alone or she dies." He hung up. Eris's breath came in shallow gasps. "Good," Marcus said. "Now we wait." The SUV pulled out, drove. Eris tried to memorize the route, landmarks, anything that might help. But the city blurred together, buildings and lights and streets that all looked the same. They pulled into an abandoned shipping yard 20 minutes later. Rusted containers stacked like tombstones, cracked pavement, the smell of salt water and decay. Marcus's men dragged her out, into a warehouse that looked like it hadn't been used in decades. They zip-tied her to a chair in the center of the space, hands behind her back, ankles to the legs. Marcus stood in front of her, checked his watch. 40 minutes. He'll be early. Men like Kai always are. "He'll bring backup," Eris said. "Feds, SWAT. You'll be surrounded before you know it." "Maybe. Or maybe he's smart enough to know that backup gets you killed." Marcus crouched down, eye level. "See, the thing about Kai is he thinks he's smarter than everyone, thinks he can outplay us, outmaneuver his old man, bring down the whole empire and walk away clean. He will. No." Marcus's smile faded. "He won't. Because tonight, he learns a lesson my brother should have taught him years ago. You can't escape your blood. You can't wash away what you are. And trying just gets people killed." He stood, walked away. Eris tested the zip ties. No give. She looked around. 6 men, all armed, all watching, no way out. She closed her eyes, tried to think. Kai would come. She knew he would. Despite everything, despite the lies and the betrayal and the rage between them. He'd come because Marcus was right. She mattered to him. And that was going to get him killed. The warehouse door opened. Eris's head snapped up. Kai walked in. Alone, hands visible, no weapon. Marcus smiled. There he is, the prodigal son. Kai's eyes found Eris, scanned her for injuries. His jaw tightened when he saw the blood on her lip. Let her go, he said. This is between us. Oh, but she's part of it now, part of you. Marcus circled. Tell me, nephew, does she know what you really are, what you've done, the bodies you've buried for this family? She knows enough. Does she know about Detroit? The family you erased because they tried to expand into our territory? Kai's expression didn't change. That was war. It was murder. 16 people, including a 10-year-old boy who saw too much. Marcus's voice dropped. You pulled the trigger on that one yourself, remember? Eris felt sick. Kai didn't look at her, kept his eyes on Marcus. I remember. And you still think you can walk away from this? That you can burn it all down and start clean? Marcus laughed. You are the Empire, Kai. You're as stained as the rest of us. More, maybe. Because you knew better, and you did it anyway. That's why it has to end, Kai said quietly. That's why I'm doing this. Noble, stupid, but noble. Marcus pulled a gun. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to tell me everything. Every name you gave the feds, every piece of evidence, every safe house and witness. And if I believe you're telling the truth, if I think you've given me everything, I'll let her go. And if you don't believe me, Marcus pointed the gun at Eris, then I put a bullet in her head and we start on the next person you care about. Maybe that wildlife clinic you like so much. Or Lena. I hear she's cooperating with the feds now. Be a shame if something happened. Kai's hands clenched. You touch them. You're not in a position to make threats. Marcus cocked the gun. So talk. Now. Kai looked at Eris, and in his eyes she saw something break. I'm sorry, he said. Then he started talking. Names, dates, safe house locations, evidence dumps, every detail of the case he'd spent 2 years building. He gave Marcus everything. Eris listened in horror, watched 2 years of work unravel in 10 minutes of desperate confession. When Kai finished, Marcus lowered the gun. See? That wasn't so hard. He gestured to his men. Cut her loose. One of them moved forward, cut the zip ties. Eris stood on shaky legs. Now leave, Marcus said. Both of you, before I change my mind. Kai moved toward her. Eris backed away. Don't. Eris, you just destroyed everything for me, for... Her voice broke. You shouldn't have come. I didn't have a choice. There's always a choice. Marcus cleared his throat. Touching. But you should go. I have calls to make, people to warn, evidence to destroy. Kai grabbed Eris's arm, pulled her toward the door. They made it 3 steps before Marcus spoke again. Oh, and Kai. They stopped. Marcus smiled. You really thought I'd let you walk away? The gunshot was deafening. Pain exploded in Kai's shoulder. He went down hard. Eris screamed. Marcus's men moved in, grabbed Kai, dragged him back. No! Eris lunged forward. Hands caught her, held her. You see, Marcus said, standing over Kai, there's a problem with your little confession. It's not enough. Giving me names doesn't undo what you've done, doesn't erase the betrayal. Blood soaked through Kai's shirt. His face was pale, but his eyes, still sharp, still calculating, fixed on Marcus. So what now? Kai gasped. You kill me? Make an example? Eventually. Marcus crouched down. But first you're going to call your father. Tell him you're done. That you're sorry. That you'll do anything to make it right. He's dying, which means he deserves to see his son one last time before I put a bullet in your head. Marcus stood. Make the call, or I kill her first and make you watch. Kai's eyes found Eris, and in that moment, with blood pooling beneath him and death circling, she saw the truth. He loved her, not the idea of her, not the role she played, her, and it was going to kill them both. Make the call, Marcus said. Kai closed his eyes, opened them. Okay. Marcus handed him a phone. Kai dialed. The phone rang once, twice. Vincent Draven answered. Kai. Dad? Kai's voice was steady despite the pain. I need to see you, tonight. It's important. Where are you? Pier 17, the old shipping yard. A pause. I'll be there in 20 minutes. The line went dead. Marcus smiled. Good boy. He gestured. His men hauled Kai up, zip-tied him to a support beam. Eris fought against the hands holding her. Let him go. Shut up. Marcus backhanded her. She tasted blood again. Kai strained against the zip ties. Touch her again and I swear. You'll what? Marcus laughed. You're dead, Kai. You just don't know it yet. They waited. Eris's mind raced, looking for an opening, an escape, anything, nothing. She met Kai's eyes across the warehouse. I'm sorry, he mouthed. She wanted to scream at him, to rage, to tell him his apologies meant nothing when they were both about to die. But instead she mouthed back, I know. Headlights cut through the darkness outside. A car pulled up. Doors opened. Vincent Draven walked into the warehouse. Alone. He looked older than at dinner. Thinner. Death eating him from the inside. But his presence, that commanded respect through sheer force of will, remained. He saw Kai. The blood. The zip ties. His expression didn't change. Marcus. His voice was cold. Flat. Explain. Your son's been building a federal case against us. 2 years. Hundreds of arrests. He was going to burn it all down. Vincent turned to Kai. Is this true? Kai met his father's eyes. Yes. Why? Because it's wrong. All of it. The trafficking, the murder, He coughed, blood on his lips. I couldn't be part of it anymore. So you decided to destroy it. Destroy me. I decided to save the people you've been hurting for decades. Vincent was quiet for a long moment. Then he turned to Marcus. Let him go. Marcus blinked. What? You heard me. Cut him loose. Vincent, he's a traitor. He's my son. Vincent's voice went hard, sharp. And you don't touch him without my permission. Ever. Marcus's face flushed. He gave the feds everything. Then we'll deal with it. Together. As a family. Vincent looked at Kai. But not like this. Not with guns and threats. That's not who we are. It's exactly who we are, Kai said. His voice was fading, weak from blood loss. It's all we've ever been. Vincent moved closer, knelt beside his son, and for the first time Eris saw something that might have been grief in his eyes. I failed you, Vincent said quietly. Tried to make you into something you weren't. Thought strength meant violence. Loyalty meant blind obedience. He touched Kai's face. Gentle. I was wrong. Kai stared at him, shocked. Dad, shit. I'm dying, Kai. 6 months at most. And when I'm gone, Vincent straightened, looked at Marcus. When I'm gone, this empire dies with me. All of it. No succession, no war, just an ending. Marcus went pale. You can't. I can. And I am. Vincent's voice was final. Absolute. It's over, Marcus. All of it. You're just going to let them arrest us. I'm going to die on my terms, not theirs. He turned back to Kai. Cut him loose. Get him a doctor and bring the girl. Marcus didn't move. Vincent pulled a gun, pointed it at Marcus. I wasn't asking. For a frozen moment, no one breathed. Then Marcus nodded. His men cut Kai free. Kai collapsed. Vincent caught him. Get a medic, Vincent snapped. One of Marcus's men ran out. Vincent looked at Eris. Come here. She didn't move. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm trying to save you both. Eris walked forward on legs that barely held her. Vincent studied her. You love him. It wasn't a question. She looked at Kai, bleeding, broken. I don't know. Figure it out, fast, because what comes next, you'll need to be sure. What comes next? Vincent's smile was sad, tired. The end of everything. He stood, addressed the room. Here's how this works.
I call the feds. I give them everything. Names, accounts, evidence. I confess to 40 years of crimes and I go quietly. In exchange, Kai walks, Eris walks, Lena walks. Everyone who cooperated gets immunity.
And us? Marcus asked. Hollow. You face the charges. You take the fall. You protect the next generation from inheriting this nightmare. Vincent's voice was steel. Or I kill you myself right now and save the feds the trouble. Marcus stared at him. Then, slowly, he nodded. Okay. Vincent pulled out his phone, dialed. Agent Chen, this is Vincent Draven. I'm ready to talk. He gave her the address. Hung up. Looked at Kai and Eris. You have 10 minutes. Use them wisely. Then he walked away, leaving them alone in the center of the warehouse with blood on the concrete and sirens growing louder in the distance. Kai grabbed Eris's hand. We need to go, before the feds get here. Before what? Eris pulled away. This is over, Kai. You got what you wanted. The confession, the takedown. The empire falls and you get to walk away clean. I'm not walking away from you. Yes, you are. Her voice broke. Because I can't do this. I can't be with someone who lies, who uses people, who destroys everything he touches trying to fix it. Eris, you gave Marcus everything. You sacrificed 2 years of work for me, and I didn't even ask you to. I know. So why? Kai looked at her, blood-soaked, dying, more honest than she'd ever seen him. Because losing the case was survivable, losing you wasn't. The words hung in the air. Sirens screamed closer. Eris stood there, frozen, knowing that if she stayed, if she forgave him, if she chose him, her life would never be simple again. And knowing that if she left, she'd spend the rest of her life wondering what they could have been. Outside, car doors slammed. Federal agents poured in. Agent Chen at the front. Nobody move! The warehouse erupted into controlled chaos. Agents securing the scene, Marcus and his men on their knees, Vincent standing calm, resigned. Chen saw Kai. The blood. Get a medic! I'm fine, Kai said, then collapsed. Eris caught him. Medic! Chen shouted. Paramedics rushed in, loaded Kai onto a stretcher. Eris held his hand the whole time. At the ambulance, they tried to separate them. Family only, the paramedic said. I'm his fiancée, Eris heard herself say. The paramedic nodded. Let her climb in. The doors closed, the ambulance pulled away, and as they raced toward the hospital with Kai's life hanging by a thread, Eris realized something. She'd made her choice, not because it was smart, not because it was safe, but because somewhere between the lies and the blood and the wreckage, she'd stopped being able to imagine a future that didn't include him, even if that future destroyed her. The hospital smelled like bleach and fear. Eris sat in the waiting room with fluorescent lights humming overhead and coffee that tasted like cardboard going cold in her hands. 3 hours. That's how long Kai had been in surgery. 3 hours of nurses hurrying past with tight faces and doctors speaking in hushed voices and the steady beep of machines keeping people alive. Agent Chen sat across from her, silent, watchful. You should eat something, Chen said finally. Eris didn't respond, just stared at the double doors where they'd wheeled Kai through, where she'd last seen him, pale, unconscious, blood soaking through the paramedic's bandages. The bullet had missed the major artery by centimeters. Lucky, they said. Like luck meant anything in a world where getting shot was just part of the cost of doing business. Vincent's talking, Chen continued. Full confession. He's giving us everything. Bank accounts, distribution networks, names we didn't even know we needed. It's unprecedented. Good for him. It means the arrests happen tomorrow, dawn. Simultaneous raids across 4 states. 237 people in custody before breakfast. Chen leaned forward. It's over, Eris. You won. Kai won. He's in surgery with a bullet in his shoulder because of me. That's not winning. He's alive because of you. If you hadn't been there, if Marcus had gotten what he wanted, Kai would be dead. Vincent would be dead. And the Empire would have fractured into a dozen smaller wars. Eris looked at her. You knew, didn't you, about Lena, about her connection. Chen didn't flinch. Yes. And you didn't tell me. I couldn't. Operational security. If you'd known too early, it might have compromised. Don't. Eris's voice was flat, dead. Don't give me operational security. Don't tell me it was necessary. You all lied. Kai, you, everyone. You used us like chess pieces and acted surprised when we didn't want to play. You're right, Chen said simply. And I'm sorry, for what it's worth. It wasn't worth much. The double doors swung open. A surgeon emerged, pulling off bloody gloves. Eris stood. Her legs barely held her. Family of Kai Draven? Yes. The lie came automatically now. The surgeon's face was neutral, professional. He's stable. The bullet missed the brachial artery but caused significant tissue damage. We repaired what we could. He'll need physical therapy, possibly a second surgery down the line, but he'll live. The relief hit like a physical blow. Eris's knees buckled. Chen caught her. Can I see him? Eris asked. He's in recovery, still sedated, but you can sit with him. The surgeon led her through a maze of hallways to a small recovery room. Kai lay on the bed, bandages wrapping his shoulder, IV drip feeding into his arm. Pale. Still. More vulnerable than she'd ever seen him. Eris pulled a chair close, sat, took his hand. His fingers were cold. She held them anyway. You're an idiot, she whispered. You know that? Coming alone. Giving Marcus everything. Almost getting yourself killed. Kai didn't respond. Machines beeped. Monitored his heartbeat. Steady. Alive. I should walk away, she continued. Voice breaking. I should leave right now. Go back to my life and pretend I never met you. That's the smart thing. The safe thing. She brushed hair off his forehead. Gentle. But I can't, because somewhere in all this mess, all the lies and the blood and the nightmare, I fell for you, the real you, not the heir, not the informant, just the man who looked at me like I mattered. Tears burned her eyes. So when you wake up, we're going to have a conversation, a real one. No lies, no games. And you're going to decide if you want this, us, for real, or if you were just using me to feel human. She wiped her eyes, stood. Kai's hand tightened on hers. She looked down. His eyes were open, barely, drugged and unfocused, but aware. Not using you, he mumbled. Words slurred. Never. Kai, love you. The words came out broken, raw. Tried not to. Couldn't help it. Then his eyes closed again. Eris stood there, heart hammering, those 3 words echoing in her skull. Love you. He'd said it. In the haze of anesthesia where lies were impossible, he loved her, and she had no idea what to do with that. Dawn came with the sound of sirens. Eris watched from the hospital window as the city erupted, police cars and federal vehicles converging on addresses across town. The news played on the waiting room TV, breaking reports of massive coordinated arrests, criminal empire dismantled, decades of corruption exposed. 237 people in handcuffs before most of the city finished breakfast. Agent Chen appeared beside her. It's done. What happens now? Arraignments, trials, years of legal proceedings. Chen crossed her arms. Vincent will die in custody. Cancer won't wait for a verdict. But the rest? Marcus, the lieutenants, the network, they'll face justice. And Lena? Full immunity. She provided testimony about the Volkov operations, enough to secure 14 additional arrests. She's clean, free to go. The relief should have been stronger, but Eris just felt hollow. Has she asked about me? Chen hesitated. No. The word cut deeper than it should have. She'll come around, Chen said. Give her time. Will she? Chen didn't answer, because they both knew the truth. Some betrayals didn't heal, some fractures never mended. Eris had chosen Kai over Lena, had lied to her, dragged her into a federal case, destroyed the fragile peace Lena had built over a decade of running from her blood. That wasn't something time fixed. Eris went back to Kai's room. He was awake now, sitting up slightly, color returning to his face. Hey, he said. Hey. Awkward silence stretched between them. Did you mean it? Eris asked finally. What you said, before. Kai's jaw tightened. I was drugged. That's not an answer. He looked at her, really looked, and in his eyes she saw the fear, the vulnerability, the truth he'd been hiding behind lies and strategy for so long he'd forgotten how to be honest. Yeah, he said quietly. I meant it. Eris's breath caught. Say it again. Sober. Kai's hand found hers, held tight. I love you, Eris Vale. I've loved you since that night in the diner when you told Lena you were sure. When you chose me despite every reason not to. I love you, and I'm terrified because I don't know how to do this without destroying it. Do what? Be with someone. Be normal. I've spent my entire life weaponizing connection, using people. I don't know how to just love someone without turning it into strategy. Eris sat on the edge of the bed, careful not to jostle his shoulder. Then we figure it out, together. No lies, no games, just truth, even when it's ugly. Even when it's ugly, Kai repeated. Starting now. She took a breath. I'm angry at you. For hiding Lena's connection. For using me. For almost getting yourself killed. I'm angry, and I'm hurt, and I don't know if I can trust you yet. Kai nodded slowly. Fair. But I also love you, which is inconvenient and stupid and probably going to ruin my life. But it's true. A smile tugged at his mouth. Fragile. Real. So where does that leave us? I don't know. But we have time to figure it out. She touched his face. The war's over, Kai. You won. The Empire's gone. Your father's in custody. You're free. The word seemed foreign to him. Free. Like he didn't know what to do with it. A knock at the door interrupted them. Agent Chen stepped in. Her expression was grim. We have a problem. Kai tensed. What kind of problem? Marcus escaped custody during transport, overpowered 2 agents, took their weapons. He's in the wind. Ice flooded Eris's veins. How long ago? 40 minutes. We have the city locked down. Airports, train stations, every exit monitored. But Chen hesitated. He made a call before he disappeared, to an unlisted number. We traced it. And? It connected to a burner phone registered to someone in this hospital. Silence fell like a hammer. He's here, Kai said. He's coming for us. Chen's radio crackled. A voice shouted through static. Shots fired. 3rd floor. Suspect matching Marcus Draven's description. The radio cut to screaming. Chen pulled her weapon. Stay here. Lock the door. Don't open it for anyone except me. She ran. Kai struggled to sit up. Winced. We need to move. You just had surgery. I don't care. Marcus won't stop. He'll burn this whole hospital down to get to me. More gunfire echoed through the building. Closer now. Alarms blared, patients screaming, nurses shouting evacuation orders. Eris looked around. They were on the 5th floor. No way down except the stairs or elevator. Both would be death traps if Marcus was hunting them. Window, she said. What? Fire escape. Outside the window. She moved to it, looked down. 5 stories. Rusted metal ladder leading to an alley. Can you climb? Do I have a choice? Eris opened the window. Cold air rushed in. She helped Kai up. He bit back a scream as his shoulder protested. They climbed out onto the fire escape. Metal groaned under their weight. Behind them, the door to Kai's room exploded inward. Marcus stood in the doorway, blood on his shirt, gun in his hand. Going somewhere? Kai shoved Eris toward the ladder. Climb, now. Kai, go. She climbed, hands slipping on icy metal, down 1 flight, 2. Above her, Kai followed, moving too slow, shoulder bleeding through his bandages. Marcus appeared at the window, aimed. You really thought you could destroy everything and walk away? He shouted. You really thought I'd let that happen? He fired. The bullet sparked off the railing inches from Kai's head. Eris screamed. Kai kept moving, faster now, desperation overriding pain. They reached the 3rd floor platform. Kai stumbled, nearly fell. Eris caught him. Keep going, he gasped. Marcus climbed out the window, started down after them. 2nd floor, 1st floor. The ladder ended 10 feet above the alley. Eris didn't hesitate, jumped, hit the ground hard, rolled, pain shot through her ankle. Kai jumped, landed badly, collapsed. Eris dragged him up. Come on, come on, come on! They ran. The alley opened onto a side street. Early morning, traffic just starting, people heading to work. Normal people living normal lives. Eris flagged down a taxi, shoved Kai inside. Drive, now. The driver saw the blood, the desperation. I don't want trouble.
Eris pulled out $300 from her pocket. Money Kai had given her weeks ago. This is yours if you drive. No questions. The driver grabbed the cash, pulled out. Behind them, Marcus emerged from the alley, saw them, raised his gun, traffic blocked the shot. The taxi turned a corner, disappeared into the city. Eris collapsed back against the seat, heart hammering. Kai was pale, shaking, shoulder bleeding freely now. Where to? The driver asked. Good question.
The safe house was compromised. The hospital was a war zone. Kai's penthouse would be the first place Marcus looked. Eris's apartment was small, forgotten. No one had been there in weeks. West Side, she said. Gave the address. 20 minutes later, they stumbled into her building, up 3 flights of stairs, into the apartment that still smelled like her old life. Eris locked the door. 3 deadbolts. Shoved a chair under the handle. Kai sank onto the couch, breathing hard. Let me see. Eris peeled back his bandages. The stitches had torn, blood everywhere. She grabbed her first aid kit, the one she kept for injured animals, started cleaning the wound with hands that shook too hard. This is bad, she said. Yipam, you need a hospital. No hospitals. Marcus has people everywhere. We go back, we're dead. Then what? Kai pulled out his phone, dialed with bloody fingers.
Chen, it's me. A pause. Yeah, we're alive, barely. He gave her the address. I need medical, discreet. And I need to know where Marcus is. He listened. His face went pale. Understood. He hung up. What? Eris asked. Marcus killed 3 agents during the escape, wounded 4 more. He's completely unhinged. Blames me for everything. Vincent's arrest, the Empire falling, all of it. So what's his end game? Revenge. Pure and simple. He's going to kill everyone I care about, starting with you, then Lena, then me. Make me watch it all burn before he puts a bullet in my head. Eris's hands stilled. Lena, we need to warn her. Chen already has agents on her. 24-hour protection. That didn't stop Marcus before. I know. They sat in silence, the weight of it crushing. This doesn't end until he's dead, Kai said finally. Or I am. There has to be another way. There isn't. Kai met her eyes. He won't stop. He can't. This is personal now. He's lost everything. His brother's empire, his power, his future. All he has left is rage. So what do we do? Kai was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was steady, resolved. We give him what he wants. Meaning? Me. We set a trap, lure him in, and this. That's suicide. It's the only way to keep you safe, to keep Lena safe, to make sure he doesn't tear the city apart looking for us. No, Eris stood. Absolutely not. We find another way. There is no other way. Kai's voice rose, then cracked. Don't you get it? As long as I'm alive, you're in danger. Everyone I care about is in danger. That's the cost of being with me. That's what loving me means. Then I'll pay it. I won't let you. It's not your choice. They stared at each other, the truth hanging between them. Kai loved her, would die for her, was actively planning to die for her, and Eris couldn't let that happen. A knock at the door made them both freeze. It's Chen, a voice called. Eris checked the peephole. Agent Chen stood there, alone, no weapon visible. She opened the door. Chen came in, saw Kai's shoulder, swore. I brought supplies. She set down a medical bag. And bad news. Worse than Marcus hunting us? Eris asked. He has help. 3 of his lieutenants escaped custody. They're armed, mobile, and they've made it clear. Anyone who helps Kai dies. So we're alone, Kai said. Not completely. I have a team tracking them, but they're good, professional. They know how to stay invisible. Chen pulled out a laptop. I have a proposal. She opened it, showed them a map. There's a warehouse on the east side,
Abandoned, no surveillance, perfect for an ambush. We leak your location, let Marcus think he's hunting you. When he shows up, she gestured, my team moves in, traps him, ends this clean. He'll see it coming, Kai said. Maybe, but he's desperate, angry. People like that make mistakes. Or they take everyone down with them. Chen closed the laptop. It's the best option we have. Unless you want to spend the rest of your life running. Kai looked at Eris. Your call. She thought of the clinic, the animals she'd saved, the life she'd built from wreckage. She thought of Lena, the sister she'd lost. She thought of Kai, bleeding on her couch, willing to die to keep her safe. We do it, she said, but on our terms, not yours. Chen raised an eyebrow. Meaning? Meaning no federal presence, no backup, no tactical team waiting in the wings, just us and Marcus. One last conversation. That's insane. So is everything else we've done? Eris crossed her arms. You want this clean? You want it over? Then you give us what we need and you stay out of it. I can't authorize that, so. Then don't. This isn't official. This is personal. She looked at Kai. We end this our way, or we don't end it at all. Kai's eyes held hers. Then he nodded. Okay. Chen looked between them, calculating. You're both going to get killed. Maybe, Kai said, but we're doing it anyway. Chen sighed, pulled out her phone. I'll get you what you need. Weapons. Secure transport. A clean location. She met Kai's eyes. But if this goes sideways, if Marcus kills you both, I'm not taking the blame. Noted. She made the call. Eris sat beside Kai, took his hand. You sure about this? He asked quietly. No, but I'm tired of running, tired of being scared, tired of letting other people decide how this ends. We could die. We're already dying, just slower. She squeezed his hand. At least this way, we control it. Kai brought her hand to his lips, kissed her knuckles. When this is over, if we survive, I'm taking you somewhere quiet, somewhere safe, somewhere we can just be. Where? I don't know. Mountains, ocean, anywhere that isn't here. Sounds nice. It will be. If they survived. Big if. The warehouse was exactly what Chen promised. Abandoned, isolated, perfect for killing or being killed. Eris stood in the center of the empty space, testing the weight of the gun Chen had provided. Glock 19, 9mm, 15 rounds. She'd never fired a gun before last week when Chen had given her a crash course. Aim, breathe, squeeze, don't pull. Simple in theory, terrifying in practice. Kai leaned against a support beam, shoulder bandaged properly now thanks to Chen's medic. Still pale, still weak, but alive. He'll come from the east entrance, Kai said. It's the most visible. He'll want to see us, to watch our faces when he kills us. What if he brings backup? He won't. This is personal. He wants to do it himself. Eris hoped he was right. The sun was setting, shadows stretching across concrete. They'd been waiting for 2 hours. Chen had leaked the location through a compromised informant. Marcus would have gotten it by now. He'd come. Question was when. Eris's phone buzzed. She checked it. A text from an unknown number. I'm sorry. She stared at it, then dialed. Lena answered on the first ring. Don't hang up, Lena said immediately. I wasn't going to. I'm sorry. For everything. For the things I said, for shutting you out. You were trying to protect me and I couldn't see it. Eris's throat tightened. You had every right to be angry. Maybe, but I shouldn't have walked away. You're my family, Eris, the only family that matters, and I abandoned you when you needed me most. Tears burned behind Eris's eyes. Are you safe? She asked. Federal agents are camped outside my apartment. Chen's orders. They said Marcus is... Lena's voice broke. They said he's hunting you. He is. Then get out. Leave the city. I can help. I have money saved. It's too late for running. Eris, we're ending this. Tonight, one way or another. Silence on the other end. You're going after him, Lena said. Not a question. Yeah, that's suicide. Probably. Then don't do it, please. Just walk away. Let the feds handle it.
They can't. Marcus won't stop until we're dead. All of us. You, me, Kai. This is the only way. Lena was quiet for a long moment. I love you, she said finally. I love you too. If you die, if this goes wrong, I'm going to kill Kai myself. Eris laughed, wet, broken. Deal. She hung up. Kai was watching her. Lena? He asked. Yeah. She okay? No, but she will be. Eris pocketed the phone. After this is over, after we... She didn't finish, because headlights cut through the darkness outside. A car pulled up. Engine killed. Footsteps on concrete. Marcus walked in. Alone. Just like Kai predicted, gun in hand, face twisted with rage and grief and something beyond sanity. There you are, he said. His voice echoed in the empty space. Just us, Kai said. Like you wanted. Marcus smiled. Good. I was worried you'd bring your federal friends. Ruin the moment. What moment? The one where I make you pay for everything you've destroyed. Marcus moved closer, deliberate, savoring it. Vincent's dying in a cell. The empire's gone. 40 years of work erased because you couldn't accept your place. My place was never with you, Kai said. Never with him. I was a weapon you pointed at people. That's all I ever was. And you think you're better now? You think turning informant makes you clean? Marcus's laugh was sharp, cruel. You're still a killer, Kai. Still a Draven. You'll never be anything else. Maybe. But at least I'm trying. Trying. Marcus spat the word. You don't get to try. You don't get to walk away. You don't get redemption. He raised the gun, pointed it at Eris. You get to watch everyone you love die, then you get to join them. Kai moved, stepped in front of Eris. You want to kill someone? Kill me. Leave her out of it. Oh, I'm going to kill you, but first, I want you to feel what I felt when you destroyed everything, when you took my future and burned it to ash. His finger tightened on the trigger. Time slowed. Eris saw it happening, saw the bullet coming, saw Kai standing between her and death. She moved without thinking, shoved Kai aside, raised her gun, fired. The recoil shocked her, the sound deafening. Marcus staggered, blood bloomed on his chest. He looked down, surprised. Looked at Eris. You... He raised his gun again. Eris fired. Once, twice, 3 times. Marcus fell. Silence crashed down. Eris stood there, gun smoking in her hand, heart hammering so hard she thought it would break through her ribs. Kai touched her shoulder. Eris! She dropped the gun, backed away. Marcus lay on the concrete, blood pooling beneath him, breathing shallow, dying. Kai knelt beside him. It's over. Marcus coughed, blood on his lips. Vincent was right, he whispered. You're stronger than I thought. You could have walked away, Kai said. Could have taken a deal, started over. There is no starting over, not for people like us. Marcus's eyes found Eris. You think you saved him? You think killing me makes you a hero? Eris didn't answer. You're just like us now, just another killer. Welcome to the family. His eyes glazed, his breathing stopped. Marcus Draven was dead. Eris sank to the ground, shaking, shock setting in. Kai pulled her against him, held her. You're okay. We're okay. But they weren't, because Marcus was right. She'd killed a man, pulled the trigger, watched him die. That wasn't something you came back from. Sirens wailed in the distance. Agent Chen appeared in the doorway, took in the scene. It's done, Kai said. Chen nodded. My team is 2 minutes out. We'll process the scene, get your statements, then... She looked at them. Then you're free. Both of you. This is over. Over. The word felt impossible. Chen's team arrived, flooded the warehouse, secured the body, took photographs, asked questions. Eris answered mechanically. Yes. He came in. He threatened us. He raised his weapon. I fired in self-defense. All true. All hollow. Dawn broke as they finished. Chen walked them out to an unmarked car. Where to? She asked.
Kai looked at Eris. Your call. Eris thought of the clinic, the animals, the life she'd built. She thought of Lena, the bridges that needed mending. She thought of the gun in her hand, the man she'd killed, the line she'd crossed. Somewhere quiet, she said finally. Somewhere we can think. Chen nodded, gave the driver an address. They drove. The city woke around them. People heading to work, living ordinary lives. No idea that an empire had fallen, that a war had ended, that two people had just killed their way to freedom. The car pulled up to a small hotel on the outskirts. Clean, anonymous, safe. Chen handed Kai a key. Rooms paid for. 2 weeks. After that, you're on your own. Thank you. Don't thank me. I'm just doing my job. She hesitated. For what it's worth, you did good. Both of you. Saved a lot of lives. At what cost? Eris asked. Chen didn't answer, because there was no good answer. They went inside, up to the 3rd floor, into a room with 2 beds and a window overlooking nothing. Kai locked the door. They stood there, exhausted, traumatized, alive. We should talk, Kai said. I killed a man. You saved my life. Same thing. No, it's not. Kai moved closer, took her hands. Marcus would have killed us both. You did what you had to do. Doesn't make it easier. I know. Eris looked at him, at the man she'd chosen, the man she'd killed for. What happens now? Now we figure out how to live with it, how to move forward, together. And if we can't, then we try anyway. Eris leaned her forehead against his chest, felt his heartbeat, steady, alive. I'm scared, she whispered. Me too. I don't know how to do this, how to be normal after everything. Neither do I. But we'll learn. He tilted her face up. We have time now. No one hunting us, no deadlines, no war, just time. Time, she repeated. It felt like a gift and a curse, because time meant living with what they'd done, with who they'd become. Time meant facing the consequences. Kai's phone buzzed. He checked it. His face went pale. What? Eris asked. Vincent died 20 minutes ago. Heart failure. The words hung in the air. I thought cancer, 6 months. So did I. Kai sat heavily on the bed. Chen says the stress accelerated it. The arrest, the confession, knowing it was all over. How do you feel? Kai was quiet for a long time. Relieved, he said finally, and guilty for feeling relieved. He was a monster, but he was also my father. And now he's gone, and I don't know if that makes me free or just empty. Eris sat beside him, took his hand. You're allowed to grieve, even for monsters. I don't want